Well, well, well. Let's get it. Let's go. Man. Just when I thought there was going to be no news, Matt Eberflus decides he's going to drop a megaton bomb. So we're going to cover that today. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video or you like this live stream, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Man, I am excited about this interview. I haven't listened to maybe but about 2 or 3 minutes of it. And the stuff that Matt Eberflus starts saying from the very beginning, man, my reaction, I'm just like, wait, hold on a minute. I can't wait till y'all hear this. It's hot off the press. I know many of you coming in, you haven't heard it. So, let me give you the rundown for today's topics. So, we are going to do the Matt Eberflus press conference. And I am pretty sure that is going to take up quite a bit of our time. We're going to do Matt Eberflus. We're going to talk a little bit about the Tyler Guyton thing, not a lot. We talked about it last night. I just want to talk about a couple of Tyler Guyton options, and then we're going to move on. And then we're going to talk about this Christian Matthews signing. Come on, Cowboys. You got to do a little bit better than this. Then, depending upon how much time we have left, we're going to listen to some player interviews. We didn't get a chance to listen to those yesterday. And then I got more news and views. So, there may be some more coach interviews coming down the pipeline. I saw where Clayton Adams, Clarence Hill had posted Clayton Adams talking over on X. So I'm hoping that's about to migrate its way over to DallasCowboys.com. So, if that migrates its way over to DallasCowboys.com, while we're on, we're going to skip the player interviews and we're going to go right to Clayton Adams. So, that's the show for today. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Eberflus press conference talking defense, Guyton options, Christian Matthews player interviews, more news and views. Let's go. Let's get it. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. So we're gonna roll right into our intro. And hold on, let me do something. Let the music play for a moment. I have people, they always ask me to share this with them, so I'm gonna share it with them real quick. So let me do this real quick. Then we're gonna be rolling. Let's go. All right, let's get this thing going. And so, y'all know how we do it. Let's get our roll call in. Good to see y'all coming in. Then we're going to get in this thing, man. Let's go. Katharina Kiss, good evening. What's going on with you?
Yo, G, bless him.
Katharina Kiss said, y'all better hit that like button as you come in. Let's go. Troy Dudley, what up? Carrie Ketley, good evening. All is well for sure. Dominique Pittman, let's get it. What's up? Stephen White in here, what's going on? Robert Simmons in the crib. Jesus Baroto, what up? Or should I say Jesus? Jesus, what up with you? Robert Dudley in the crib. He said, I finally got in. Let's go. He said, it's getting hot in here. Man, I had to go turn the AC on. Y'all notice I'm wearing a sweatshirt in the summer. A sweat top in the summer. I had to go turn the AC on. Y'all know how we do. Let's go. All right. So we got Mike Burrell. He said, please, G, get to the point. Man, we going to get to the point, but we got to at least give some introductions. All right, let's go. We're about to listen to Matt Eberflus. Man, I am telling you. Matt Eberflus. And we'll greet everyone else as they come in. Matt Eberflus starts talking about the Dallas Cowboys defense and starts talking about defense really in general. And the moment I start to hear him talking about defense, I told y'all last week I was worried about Matt Eberflus's defense. Now, I'm worried about Matt Eberflus's defense also because of personnel. And what I don't want us to fall back into the trap of, well, we got this super high-powered offense, and so we're going to score 30 and 40 points a game. We're going to have 40 turnovers, and no, we've been there and done this. We've been there. I'm telling you, we've been here multiple times and done this. Dak Prescott from 2021 to 2023, there was no one better than Dak Prescott than Patrick Mahomes. Go look at the stats. Go look at the wins. Where we fell apart is in the playoffs. Well, quarterbacks, contrary to what people believe, quarterbacks, the majority of the time, the overwhelmingly majority of the time, don't win championships. Defenses win championships. Man, when you're talking about being in inclement weather, going on the road, being in an open stadium, I mean, it could be rain, sleet, or snow, and you're going to play. You might not be able to throw the ball, but the one thing you'll be able to do, man, if you can stop the run, you can control the game. If you can stop the run and run the ball, you can win almost every game. And so when I hear Matt Eberflus talk, I'm getting some mixed signals and I'm concerned because I'm telling us, if we're going to win a championship, don't you worry. Dak and this offense is going to put up the points. They're going to put up the points. But when you get into the playoffs, there are teams that can stop you from scoring as many points. And you need a defense that can stop people from scoring points. And you need a defense that can stop the run. I don't want no more defenses to say, yeah, well, we held them to 23. That should have been enough. How about you hold them to 13? How about you hold them to 10? How about you hold them to 0 points in the game? We need a defense that can stop the run, and we need a defense that can stop teams from scoring. So let's get into this. Uncle Charles in the crib, what's going on? So he starts talking about this thing with defense. Gregory Davis, John Jones, welcome to the congregation. Matt Eberflus begins to talk about this. And I immediately start to get a little bit more concerned. But I haven't heard the whole thing. So maybe he'll say some things that'll make me be a little bit more optimistic. All right, let's get this thing going. So, so Clayton Adams is dropped. So we will be listening to Clayton Adams too, so we may change up the order a little bit. So check out Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, the defensive line and Coach Whitecott have done a really good job of rotation defensive line. And I think it's really important that we keep those different combinations going, because I really believe that, rushing is 4 equals 1, and really playing off each other is a really important thing to do as defensive line. And you don't do that without just getting the same guys next to you all the time. And it's harder for the offensive line as well, to be able to go against different rushers, inside, outside, different combinations.
Okay, before Matt Eberflus goes on any further, understand something. What he's saying, yeah, it's good, but let us understand this too. The Philadelphia Eagles put this into full effect last year. The Philadelphia Eagles kept a very fresh rotation on their defensive line. And I think this is one of the reasons why they were able to rush the passer so effectively and they also had a very good group as it applied to stopping the run. If I'm not mistaken, the Philadelphia Eagles were the number one rush defense in football. I mean, they were just flat out stopping teams. And so again, this rotational piece that he's talking about, it's nothing new, but I am glad that he's saying that he wants the Cowboys to be able to continue that. And one of the reasons why I think they're saying this too is simply because Mazi Smith is not going to be able to play full-time one tech. I mean, we saw just yesterday on film, I mean, Mazi Smith got drove into the ground. So they're going to have to figure out some combinations of who are they going to be able to stop the run. And I don't think the run stopper is on the team yet, even though I think they're trying to sell Solomon Thomas at this position. But I don't think this player is on the team yet. But nevertheless, this whole rotation of players it's actually nothing new.
Very well. You know, the reason we drafted Donovan was what we're seeing now. You know, and that is work ethic, talent, balance, power, speed, and that's what we see. And he's a wonderful teammate. He's grinding every day and doing a nice job of progressing.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Can you talk about Mazi and his development year 3?
Shout out to Clarence Hill. He gonna make you say the quiet parts out loud. I just mentioned Mazi Smith. I'm telling you, I hadn't even heard this interview. But I'm telling you, man, this issue with Mazi Smith, people were saying that Mazi Smith was going to take a step. Well, I'm telling us right now, the Cowboys just told us he's not taking a step. They just told us the fact that he slimmed down. They said he was 300. Brian said 300. Somebody said 310. Nevertheless, Brian Schottenheimer verified he will be alternating between the 1 and the 3. I'm sorry, Mazi is a failed experiment. Every time a defensive coordinator comes in here, he's on his 3rd defensive coordinator. They start messing with his weight. They start messing with what he's doing. I'm telling you, Mazi Smith, we're just going to have to realize it for whatever reason in the pros. He was one of the best one techs in the nation at Michigan. We're just going to have to accept the facts that Mazi Smith is not going to be one of the top one techs in the NFL. It is what it is. And so, Clarence Hill is going to make him say the quiet parts out loud. I haven't heard it. Let's check it out.
Different defensive coordinators and 3 different systems. How is your system going to enable him to maximize the potential?
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't hear the question, Clarence Hill is asking a perfect question. So he's been in all these different systems. And he didn't even mention, can't recall the weight loss. So the up and down with the weight. So what is it going to be about Eberflus system that's finally going to make Mazi be successful?
Mazi's done a really good job picking up our system. It's a little bit different than what he was doing last year. You know, so I think that he likes that. He's embracing that, and he's working to get better at it. You know, the biggest thing I think is learning how to play with leverage, with power, quickness. You know, he's got all the talent that he needs, and once he learns that, you know, it's a day-to-day process, right? You get better every day, you grow, you learn, and he's going through that process right now.
Losing the weight, he's down.
Straight up, hold on. Y'all heard what he said, right? Matt, he said that he's still working? He's learned the system, but he's still working to get better. All that sounded good. But what I heard was, he ain't there yet. Mazi Smith is not there, and the Cowboys are as much admitting it. He's not there. And I think everybody's just going to have to accept the fact that Mazi Smith is not a one tech in the NFL, period, in the story. Let's move on. The Cowboys are going to have to probably go draft him another one tech, or they're going to have to trade for one. Bottom line. I'm going to come to the comments here. This interview is about 22 minutes. I'm going to come to the comments at about, when this interview gets to about the 6-minute mark. But again, he's just basically saying, he ain't there yet. And Clarence Hill, he's going to keep making you say the quiet parts out loud. It sounds like he's about to ask about the weight loss.
310, is that optimal for what you want him to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that, you know, our strength staff, H and the guys do a great job with those guys, pushing them, you know, getting them right with nutrition. And I think we have a wonderful staff there as well. But You know, it's important that guys, you know, we like, and Will McClay knows this, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is that I know he likes what I like. You know, he likes long, lean, and fast. And we'll try to get the best, you know, each guy that way.
Oh, whoa. So now you're going to include Will McClay in this. So you're going to cover your butt in a sense to say that Will McClay, we know he's personnel to a degree. So Will McClay likes him long, lean, and fast. I like him long, lean, and fast. So you're telling us we're going to turn Mozzie Smith long, lean, and fast, and we're still going to be able to be effective at stopping the run. I got problems. I got problems with these answers. Because I believe that most of us know that if you're going to stop the run, I don't care, this is not true. And I'm talking about championship level of stopping the run. I'm not talking about holding a running back to 100 to 125. No, I'm talking about holding running backs consistently like the Philadelphia Eagles were doing. I mean, you're holding running backs to less than 100 yards like the Detroit Lions were doing before they got decimated by injuries. They're holding teams to less than 100 yards. This being don't break defense. I've already showed you what his defense looked like last year. I mean, say what you want. He was letting runners run for 100 yards easy. We've been here and done this. This just sounds like Dean Quinn to me. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but he loves Rod Marinelli. And Rod Marinelli to me, I mean, I don't recall the championship level defenses that Rod Marinelli had. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I always get worried when I start hearing these coaches and they keep emphasizing a particular mentor. I get a little worried. He's talking about Marinelli. And I'm sorry, Marinelli just is somebody when you start talking about defense, I mean, I go, yeah, he's pretty good. But I'm not thinking like Spag over at Kansas City. Just saying. He's going to keep hitting him with these questions.
Matt, Todd Archer of ESPN.
Hey, Todd.
Nice to see you again.
How's it going?
Couldn't get my name out. Do we make too much of size when it comes to run defense?
See? Everybody knows this. Stop this. This is madness. You are not stopping the run. With long, lean, slender one-techs. You're not doing it. When you come up against the teams that can show enough run the ball, they're going to run you off the field. Because teams that run the ball well don't turn it over. They want to put teams in passing situations to make them play to our strengths because the strength of this defense is its pass rush. If we can get the pass rush out there, then we know, even though our cornerback play, we're going to see what it looks like. We'll talk about that later. But if we can make people hurry up and throw, maybe we can cause turnovers. But how do you make them throw if they're just going to be able to run over you all day? Everybody knows this. Why they're asking Matt Eberflus these questions about Mozzie and about weight. Now he says, Todd Archer says, is size overblown? Stop it. If size was overblown as it applied to one text, everybody would be following this. Everybody would just be going long, lean. No.
Yeah, I think you need size at certain spots. You know, the double teams happen on the inside, as we know. So you're talking about 600 and plus versus 300. So those guys do have to be stout inside there to be able to hold and anchor the point inside the middle of your defense. But on the outside, I think that you could have a couple of different body types that can really function well to set edges, to create good edge to the defense in terms of defensive ends. But inside, you do need size.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. So explain to us again why Mozzie Smith has lost weight again. And you just said you like him long, lean, and fast, or whatever the case may be. What's the answer? Jay Toya cannot be the answer. especially not this season, not on his rookie campaign. He cannot be, because I'm telling you, if Jay Toya was the one tech that could literally come onto your team and be a championship level one tech in his first season, you don't draft him where the Cowboys drafted him. Oh no, that one tech, everybody wants him. You don't draft Jay Toya where you draft him for that. Let me come to some of your comments. I want to see where you are on this, because I'm telling us, man, this thing that he's telling us, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I was already struggling. I told y'all this 2 weeks ago. Struggling on this because Cowboys seem to be in la la land on this run. Man, I understand hustling and all this stuff. I understand it. But man, we just got to get to some fundamentals. Bro, you got to be able to stop somebody down there in the middle of the field, point blank in the story. And you got to have somebody with some weight on them to do that type of stuff. But let me go down here. I appreciate some of y'all who have come in here. King Base, Poobie D, I see all of y'all in here. I'm awake. I see you, everybody. What's going on? Darren Posey, what's going on? Sweet Zeke, I see you in here. Sweet Zeke, he said, well said, G. He said, Mozzie's been a big disappointment. They need to admit it. They need to admit it on him. Failed experiment. So now they have to figure out something to do with him. They do. King Bay said Mozzie is still learning leverage, power, and quickness. Is say it, King Base. He says this is the third year for a #1 draft pick. King Base said we still talking about this for a #1 draft pick? Admit it. Failure. Gregory Davis said this is probably the most talented defense Eberflus has ever coached. I believe Eberflus will have this defense ready. I believe he's learned from his previous coaching stops. Now, Gregory Davis, I'm going to give you this. I think it's his most talented defense in spots. I'm struggling with his most talented defense until we can see it all on the field, because we don't know what the cornerback room is. We don't know what that is. I'm pretty solid on the linebacker play. Edge rushers, I'm good. But when we talk about the middle, this is where the concerns are. Because when you have teams, and he's back in the NFC, we got one of these teams over here that can run their butt off. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. We've already seen how most of these teams in the playoffs got beat. The teams that could run the ball, they ran teams off the field. And while I do believe Matt Eberflus will do good, that's not my concern. Dan Quinn did good here. A lot of this stuff with Matt Eberflus, it just sounds like Dan Quinn to me. I don't see anything different from Dan Quinn. I can remember this like yesterday. Dan Quinn was saying, pursuit to the ball, check. Turnovers, check. Punching the ball out, check. Led the league in turnovers, check. Pass rush, check. I remember all this stuff. But you know what I also remember about Dan Quinn's defenses? Gutted in the run game. Gutted in the run game. And he still got that problem over there in Washington too. And contrary to what people think about Dan Quinn in Washington, they are not going to achieve the ultimate goal. Dan Quinn believes in the same philosophy too, with the long, lean, and whatever else he said. You ain't winning. You're not winning championships. You win games. I'm not talking about winning games. Cowboy fans, we've won games. Understand where we are. 12 games ain't nothing to us. Dak Prescott healthy is a guaranteed 10, 11, 12 wins. If Dak stays healthy your whole season, if you win less than 12 games, it's a failure. Man, we talking about Dak bleeping Prescott. And now he got George Pickens. Man, it'll be insanity to me if they don't win 12 games. I don't care what the schedule looks like. Bare minimum, they're winning 10 or 11. You're getting double-digit wins. Dak Prescott getting you wins. Book it. You're getting wins. I'm not worried about regular season wins. Matt Eberflus will be able to achieve that. Heck, who didn't? Who didn't? Do we not realize under what? 2 different offense coordinators. 2 different offense coordinators. What? 3 defense coordinators. Dak Prescott, 12-win seasons. Now, if we're saying we're still building, okay, because I know we need a little bit more. I know we need a little bit more on defense. I know it. Bar none. We need more on defense, guys. We do. But when you're talking about championship level defenses, you must be top 5. Bare minimum top 5. And if you really want to win a championship, you need to be number 1, 2, or 3. And do you know how you become number 1, 2, or 3? Stopping the run. When you make teams one-dimensional with the pass rush the Cowboys have, you're going to destroy teams. Understand this part. Eberflus has another issue. Brian Broaddus pointed this out. 60% of the runs against the Dallas Cowboys last year were against the edges. Undersized edge rusher in Michael Parsons. Undersized edge rusher in Donovan Ezeraku. They are going to be fully tested when they're out there on the field, because if I'm teams, I'm running at them. Heck, they're undersized. I'm running at them. Why wouldn't I? I'm running straight at them. And then when I get you every which way but loose, because now you're concerned that you can't stop the run on the edges, or you're trying so hard to stop the run on the edges, now I'm gonna hit you with draws, I'm gonna hit you with delays, all up between the tackles. I'm gonna hit you everywhere between those tackles now, because you're coming so hard on the edge. And we already know Matt Eberflus' defense depends upon the linebackers. Sounds similar to Dan Quinn. Now, the one thing Dan Quinn didn't have here was linebackers consistently. But I'm telling you, this type of defense, it gives up yards. It gives up yards, and it gives up points. It may not give up a lot of points, but it gives up points. And the points it gives up 20, 23, 26. And if you come up against a real good team, they just maul you. They just run you off the field. And if we're depending on, Matt Eberflus can hold every team to 20, 17, 20, and 23, because we're going to be able to score 30, 37, and 45. I got news for us. We're not going to be able to do that all the time. You're not. You're just not going to be able to do that all the time. There will be defenses that we're going to face that they will be good enough to handle some of the things the Cowboys are going to throw at them. They will be good enough, I promise you. And the reason why I know this to be true, because the one thing I know about the history of Matt Eberflus and Brian Schottenheimer, both of them being offensive and defensive coordinators for other teams, the last time I checked, neither one of those teams won a Super Bowl. Neither one of them. And they've all had some good personnel in the past. Neither one of them. I don't want the remix of what we've always been. And I'm not being negative, because y'all know people accuse me of being way too positive. What I'm saying, though, I don't want the remix. Do y'all know the remix normally sounds better than the original mix? That's why people like the remix. But in the grand scheme of things, the remix is the same song. It's the same song in a sense. No, we need a new song. We need a new song, man. Dak Prescott has put up numbers with lesser than what he has, so it's not going to be a surprise for him to put up numbers. My question is the defense. Let me go to some more comments. My question is the defense. I'm not buying what is being said. You're telling us on one hand that you want these long and lean type of players. You're telling us this, and we can get with it. It sounds good. It sounds fine and dandy. We can get with it. But where we're struggling is, okay, but can you tell us how are we going to do this? You said that the middle does matter. But now you got to explain to us, then if the middle matters, then how are you going to do this? Star Guardian next. Appreciate that super chat. Star Guardian next. Now, this is the part where I'm agreeing with you. There must be a plan. I believe the Cowboys are going to bring somebody else in. They have to. They have to bring somebody else in. Because this ain't good enough. And this stuff that he's saying to me, it ain't good enough. I'm not buying all this. Yeah, we like them long, lean, and slender. But then on the other hand, you say, but you do need size in the middle, is what he just said. Star Guardian said, man, G, with this defense, I don't see Super Bowl in 3 years. That's my issue. Defense wins championships. Offense score points. That's Bear Bryant. I didn't make that up. I'm not taking credit for it. Defense wins championships. Go back and look at the 1992 Cowboys. Them boys had the #1 defense in football. And people like, wow, the Cowboys scored 50. I think it was 52-17, some crazy score in that Super Bowl. People go, wow, man, Troy Aikman put up points. Go look at what the defense did. Them boys knocked Jim Kelly into the next Super Bowl and beat him in that one too. What you think the backup quarterback gonna do against the Cowboys after they knock the starting quarterback into the next Super Bowl? Turned them boys over like a hog in the ground, and you roasting that thing on a stick, man, on a big old bar. They turned them boys in Buffalo over and over and over. Why? Because the Cowboys, I don't care what anyone say, the 92 Cowboys were bend, don't break. Them boys didn't bend. They didn't bend. You don't be the #1 team. You don't be the #1 defense bending. Boys didn't bend. No, they were breaking folk is what they were doing. They were breaking folk left and right. That's what the Cowboys are doing. So I appreciate Matt Eberflus. He's saying all the right things. I'm sure that's what he's doing. But they're also making him admit the quiet parts out loud. Bro, you need a dog in the middle, man. A dog in the middle will make this defensive line insane. You notice what he did? When they started talking about stopping the run or talking about that one tech, what does he do? He reverted back to their strength, the edge. I'll come back to some more of your comments in a moment here. But I'm telling us, he understands their strengths, and I can feel what he's saying. But, man, the Cowboys need this one tech. Boy, they need it bad, straight up.
I think 8 of your 12 years, the last 12 years, you got a run defense that's been inside the top 10. What is the key right there?
Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork. It's not just the inside guys. It's not just the outside guys. It's everybody. You know, to have an elite run defense, it's going to take everybody. You know, and one of my mentors, and you guys know him well, used to say, "No house guest," Coach Marinelli, and that's true. And that starts with, we'll be a good tackling team when our corners tackle, and that's important because all the schemes nowadays make your corners tackle. So our guys will be a good tackling bunch, and we work on that daily.
Another problem for this Cowboy defense. Another problem for this Cowboys defense. If Trayvon Diggs is ready, that's cool. But y'all already know the weakness for Trayvon Diggs last year was tackling. Now, I don't think he'll be ready anyway until about maybe game 6 to 8. But tackling cornerbacks? Okay, well, thank God for Kyrie Elam. Kyrie Elam has been the best cornerback in camp, it seems, bar none. Kyrie Elam we're going to see what kind of tackler he is. Because I really don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what kind of tackler he is. I know Trayvon Diggs is not a good tackler. I don't care who that make, man. He's not a good tackler. I think Deron Bland is a pretty good tackler. But Matt Eberflus seems to be of the impression, and it sounds like he understands the stats of 60% of the runs being on the edge for the Cowboys that Brian Broaddus pointed out. So if I'm talking about my cornerbacks being great tacklers, I'm also understanding then when they run outside, those cornerbacks got to help secure the edge. Man, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Cowboys team. Because I'm just telling you, if I'm teams, I'm running on this team on the edges the same way they've been doing. I'm running on them on the edges because for me, that's the weakness. Now, our linebacking core, Sanborn and Murray, Maurice Leafau, I think they're going to be real good for us. If the Cowboys can create a good rotation, Nealon being out there on the outside, because I believe he's the new run-stopping defensive end for us. You get Nealon out there, and I think you get Peyton Turner out there. Because if you're going to keep this rotation going, I really think you might ought to consider having those guys in the early downs. That's just me. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm not putting out Michael Parsons on first down and probably not even Donovan Ezeraku. If you really want to keep that type of a rotation that can stop the run and can also rush the passer, you're gonna have to get some people to check their egos at the door. And I'm sure they're probably already talking about this. Hey guys, everybody's not going to play every down. It's not the defense. We're not gonna play that defense no more. We're gonna have guys we're gonna play on the early downs, guys we're gonna have on run downs, guys we're gonna have on pass downs. I mean, it's the only alternative to me. And inside of all of that, I still think they need a one tech. So it can be done, but I still, like I said, I think you're going to have to line up Nealon out there. I think you're going to have to line up Turner. Dante Fowler, he's not undersized. You could probably play him out there. And Sam Williams, he'll be able to play out there some. And Sam is not a big dude when you start talking about defensive ends. Because the way Guyton, I already showed y'all the other day. You see the way Guyton handled up on him? Yeah, he hip slammed him. But we've seen 2 plays where Guyton was able to just literally move Sam Williams out to play. The Cowboys, I'm very interested to see how they progress in the preseason. And we probably won't be able to see everything. But I'm definitely interested in this rotation that they're talking about.
John Machota with The Athletic. Speaking of your corners, you obviously have some injuries with Diggs and Rebel, and now Keelan Carson. What's your concern level with the cornerback position right now?
I always look at that as opportunity first, because you get a chance for the guys that are competing to step up and move into that 1s or 2s, which they wouldn't normally be if the starters are there. So those guys have great opportunity to show what they can do. Obviously, when you're missing starters, starter types, starter talent, that's always a concern. And but we're doing a good job of working guys in there and really evaluating guys. That's the process we're going through right now in terms of evaluating every single guy as we evaluate our scheme and evaluate the skill sets. So it's a good chance for us to be able to look at other guys.
Thankfully, we're in training camp. Guys are getting reps, but it's getting close, guys. I'm telling you, we're about 5 weeks out now, and this stuff is we're getting close. I mean, think about this. It's July the 29th. The Cowboys suit up against the Eagles September the 3rd. You're to the point you're gonna have to start figuring out some things real quick. I'm very happy with Deron Bland and Kyrie Elam. I'm concerned about the rest of these cornerbacks. Keelan Carson, injury. Josh Butler, Savon Revel Jr., I'm very concerned. I don't think he's going to be able to make it by the first week, but we'll see. Based on what we saw the other day, I don't think so. Trevon Diggs, ain't no way. If he does, he won't. I'm not even going to say it. Trevon Diggs is not going to be ready. They brought in this guy, Christian Matthew. We're going to talk about him in a moment. Eberflus coached him in Chicago, but nothing major. So I'm very interested to see. He's talking about these tackling cornerbacks. What are you going to do?
Practice, a lot of times when you're calling the defense, DeMarvion Overshown's been right next to you. What have you kind of learned about DeMarvion? What's he able to kind of get out of you guys being next week?
Yeah, he's super smart. He's got really good, football intelligence, and it's a pleasure to work with him. And we just kind of talk through the play. I give him the play, make him make the calls. What are you seeing there? And then I just give him a nugget or two afterward of, hey, if you see that, this is what you're looking for there, and just trying to help him play faster once he gets back in. And I'm excited to work with him when he gets back. So I know that, once we get our hands on him, we're going to be able to help him in terms of efficiency of movement and taking that talent level and bringing him closer to the football. And I'm excited to work with him.
This is the one thing I'm going to give Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus is going to turn DeMarvion Overshown into an absolute monster. Overshown will tell you a lot of things he does is off instinct. But what he's doing is putting the X's and the O's in his head. DeMarvion Overshown is going to be a monster under Matt Eberflus. So, and again, I'm telling y'all, DeMarvion Overshown is going to be the Ray Lewis of this defense. He will be the captain of this defense. Staying healthy, next year he'll be the captain of this defense.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Obviously, a lot of defensive end talent that you have on your roster, and you've got some blitzing linebackers as well. As you build this pass rush plan, how fun has it been able to use these pieces and figure out what's best?
Yeah, we're in the process of that, right? And, football for me is always fun. Anytime I'm on the grass, I don't really like being inside. You put me in that trailer over there, man, it's not that great. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But, man, when you get on the grass, that's a lot of fun. So I enjoy what I do. I've always have. I love teaching these guys, coaching these guys. But that's part of the process we're in, right? Like I said, on the onset, the different combinations, what guys do well. As a guy, a good inside pressure player, be it from a D-line standpoint or an inside linebacker, can he pressure from the inside? Is he better on the edge? Same thing with the safeties, with the corners. We believe in sending everybody at some point on the first level, second level as a pressure player. And we're looking to see what the guys' skill sets are in doing that.
Based on what you saw in film, Kyrie, and Buffalo, based on the product you've acquired, what's been the biggest difference why he has success?
Yeah, he's just work. His work ethic is great. His buy-in is awesome. And he's doing a wonderful job with our techniques. The guys that we had, David Overstreet and Andre Curtis, have been with me for a while, and they understand the techniques and understand, what we're asking, in terms of the coverages, but also having the understanding of, looking and evaluating each player and their skill set and how to fit our scheme into that skill set. So those guys do a great job with each individual guy, and I'm excited about working with Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Journey more or less begins heralded linebackers coach from Cowboys, DC, Indy, head coach of Chicago. You're back to take over DC duties in Dallas. At this point in your career, other than the obvious Super Bowl, what motivates you and what pushes you to keep going, especially in 2025 in this industry?
Yeah, great question. I would say that it's changed over the years. I think when you're young, and I started coaching when I was super young. I had just turned 23 years old at the University of Toledo. So my idea of what I was doing there was more ambition, than gratitude, if that makes sense. So now I'm grateful for the journey that I've been on, and excited to have the opportunity to have that journey, to be able to learn, to be able to grow, not only in football, which is my vocation, but in my faith, in my family, and that's what I stand on, and then my vocation, which happens to be football, and really to pursue excellence every single day. And I tell the players this all the time: you're pursuing excellence every day in those three facets: your faith, your family, and your vocation. We're sitting here in a football meeting, so we're doing football. I said, but that is not a soft statement. To be excellent, to be elite, to master your craft. Okay, in all three of those areas, that's a job now. So those guys are doing that, and that's really what I try to do every day, and learn and grow in those three areas, and so that I can help others do the same. And that to me is really what motivates me every day. And it's a day-to-day process, moment-to-moment process. And but yeah, it's more gratitude, over ambition as I was when I was younger.
Now, as it applies to Matt Eberflus, I'm not worried about him being a good coach. But what I am worried about is the same thing. I don't want him to fall into the same trap, and I don't want Jerry to do to him what he did to Dan Quinn. Jerry Jones never quite gave Dan Quinn. He never quite gave Dan Quinn the personnel he needed. Eberflus needs two things. He needs a bona fide one tech. The Cowboys should go out there and trade for DJ Reader, or just kind of keep their ears to the ground and see if maybe somebody like him shakes down. I talked about Christian Wilkins yesterday, and I'm telling you, I just don't know if you want that. That's an HR nightmare waiting to happen with Christian Wilkins, because I'm telling you, if a football player felt it was serious enough to go to HR on him, you don't want that in your struggling with. I'm not really struggling with it my own self, but I know some Cowboy fans probably are struggling with it because we just think football and we don't care about anything else. But the locker room is a part of this game. And so the Cowboys, short of Christian Wilkins, the Cowboys have got to go out there and find somebody that can really play this one tech, because I can get with everything Matt Eberflus is saying. But, man, come on. Personnel make your job easy. Guys don't have to work as hard when you have everybody, the right personnel. This is why the Cowboys' offense is going to click so well. The offense could not click last year, because how can your offense click and Jalen Tolbert is your number 2? Jalen Tolbert is a number 3. But he's definitely not a number 2. And if he's the number 2, then everything behind him don't work right. That means everything is out of the correct pecking order. When you get the right personnel, it puts everything in the right order. And when everything is in the right order, it works well, and nobody's having to overcompensate. Everybody now can say, now let me do my part. Let me do my job. Let me do my part. And this machine all works together. It's like an engine. These old, I don't know what these new engines do. All I know is they got a box on top of them. I don't know what's under there. It could be a mouse and a box running with a rubber band. But these old engines, when you think about a V6 or a V8, you want all the spark plugs to be good. Because if one spark plug isn't right, it's a misfire. And the other ones are having to work harder to make the engine run. And before you know it, something gonna give. I don't know what point it is. Something gonna give. And so when you start talking about this Cowboys defense, they got to get this one tech for Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, I'm not concerned about him as a defensive coach. They got to get him this one. They got to get him a one tech. And they're going to have to stop playing with this cornerback stuff. And hey, we got 5 weeks. But they need to do something within the next 2 to 3. You got to get those guys in camp as soon as possible. This is the one thing that I agree with Mike McCarthy on. You want your guys in camp ASAP. And once you know you need help, and the game I'm circling that I think the Cowboys are going to start making some moves, it's going to be us against the Rams. That's what, next week? When we go against the Rams, I'm praying the Cowboys start making moves. And the move they got to make, one tech. The one tech answer is not on the team. If we're talking that this team is going to use Solomon Thomas, Jay Toya, King Basadi, if we're talking about that rotation, then rather than a V8 with 8 spark plugs, we're talking about 7. We're trying to get guys to fill in the gap and compensate, but that's not what they are. We got to get Matt Eberflus a 1 tech, and we got to get this man. And I don't care if Savon Revel Jr. is ready. I believe the cornerback the Cowboys need to bring in is Stephon Gilmore. They need to get Stephon Gilmore in camp within the next 2 weeks. And I know he's a veteran. He's older. He probably don't want to go through training camp. But the Cowboys in the next couple of weeks, like, hey, Gilly, we know you don't want to go through camp. It's week 3. We got to get you in so you can start learning the system. He's been around a long time. He'll pick the system up in a week. But he needs to get in and start running some of the sets. The Cowboys have got to do this for Matt Eberflus, because if not, they're going to sell this man short. Jared Thomas, number 1 Dak Prescott fan. What's going on? He said Jaden Daniels, 3 interceptions last training camp. He said, gee, he said, you're like a prophet or something. He said, yet again, you call it right, I think. Man, I'm telling you, these second seasons, Jared, for these doggone quarterbacks, man, we've been here and we done seen this stuff so much, I don't understand how people get fooled by it no more. Man, these teams play you different in that second season. They know what your tendencies are. They ready for you. James Godley, what's up? Appreciate that super chat, you and Jared. James said, I agree with some of the stuff that you're saying. He said, but I want to see how well they do in the first 4 games. It seems like everybody on M. Smith, not me. Now, let me tell you what I'll say to that. This is where I agree with Mike McCarthy again. Can't believe I'm saying I agree with Mike McCarthy, but I do on this. I agree with Mike McCarthy. Because what you're saying, Godly, is you want them to see, you want to see what they are in the first 4 games. So the first 4 games, you want them to get their, you want to give them a chance to get their stuff together in the first 4 games. So in the first 4 games, while they're getting their stuff together, let's say they go 2-2 or they go 1-3. Well, you're already in panic mode. And I'm not saying you're in panic mode, but a quarter of the season gone. Gone. And you're either 500 or less. So that means the rest of the way down this thing, you got to put a full court press on to the next 13 games. You put yourself in a situation to now you got to win more of those games. I'm telling us, Mike McCarthy, I 100% agree with this. Get your stuff together before the first game. Get your stuff together. Have everybody solidified. Hey, we're going to solidify everything we need. We're going to do it right now. Godly, there is no more even playing with this. We don't even need to have a conversation about Mozzie Smith. The guys in practice are running him over. He's a 3rd-year number 1 draft pick. The guys in practice are running him over. Straight up, they're running him over. The Cowboys have got to get a bigger 1 tech. Even Matt Eberflus admits, you need some size down there. You do. You do. You need an anchor down there, man. You do. Go get it for him. Don't wait and see when you're already seeing it in practice. The other teams are really going to eat you up. The other teams are really going to eat you up. There'll be no mercy. There will be no mercy. The Cowboys, Star Guardian X, I'm in the same boat. I'm expressing my concerns. I do believe the Cowboys are going to do something about this. And I'm hoping it's within the next 2 weeks. Go get your 1 tech. Stop denying it. You need a 1 tech. Period in the story. Go get a 1 tech. Stephon Gilmore, bring this man in. Stop it. Just go get this man. Just go get him. Lisa Worley, what's up? She said, prayers go out to Deion Sanders. Oh, yeah, he beat cancer. No doubt. Daniel Lee, my right-hand man, what's going on? Mozzie getting pushed around in camp. That's what I'm talking about, Daniel M. They got to do it now. Greg Johnson said, what do you expect the defense coordinator to say? That's why I said he's just saying all the right things. But I can hear in some of the things he's saying. He know they need some help. They do. Madman said Mozzie Smith is a bust as he predicted. Yeah, Z-Bay says still haven't done it. I'm telling us. Mike McCarthy is right on this. Get those players in now. And so next week, and I said this before, I think the Cowboys, they're going to let the players see what they are. They want the players to know. When they bring people in, I want you to know why we're bringing them in. When the Cowboys bring in a one tech, Mozzie Smith's feelings shouldn't be hurt. Mozzie Smith's feelings shouldn't be hurt. He should clearly understand they're going to move him over to the three tech because that one tech stuff ain't working for him. It's too much. Bleeding Blue in the crib, what up? Appreciate you in here. Golly. 3-1. Appreciate that $2 super chat. I'm going to tell you this, Godly. If they go 3-1 in those first 4 games and they don't make another move. Now I'm saying if they don't make another move. If they go 3-1 in those first 4 games, Golly, 3-1, and they don't make a move, they own to something. I want to see how they played it. I want to see how they played it. But if they go 3-1 in those first 4 games and they don't make another move, then I say they own to something. King Bay said, you can't rush the pass if you don't stop the run. Defense wins championships. I keep saying it all day long, King Base. I'm not taking credit for it. Bear Bryant said, offense score points. We know we can do that. Defense wins championships. JP said Chuck Norris Wheaties ain't gonna cut it for Dallas. I love that. Let's see here. C-Base, and this is my concern. That's my concern, C-Base. What if another team signs Gilly? And that's why I think the Cowboys need to move on him. Man, if you're going to move on Gilly, move on him. Poobie D, you talking about those Cowboys in that 92 Super Bowl. They forced 9 turnovers, Poobie D. People don't understand how great the Cowboys defense was in 92-93. Them boys were number 1. Man, when you number 1, that means you good. You top 5 against the pass and the run. That means you turning teams over like a rotisserie chicken. We've been here with the turnover thing. We've been here with the turnover thing. We've been here with the sacks. We've been here on those 2 fronts. What is the one place we haven't been since the 90s, Cowboy fans? It's rhetorical, I'm going to say it. Y'all know the one place we have not been, and the one thing we have not been able to do is stop the run. All this other stuff, we've done this before. We've done this before. Matt Eberflus, to me, he reminds me a lot of Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn, to me, is a very good defensive coordinator. But what really made him legendary status was look at the personnel he had with the Seattle Seahawks. When you got the right personnel everywhere, everything works. That was a personnel issue. The Legion of Boom has to be one of the most incredible, especially when you're talking about from the secondary perspective. Shoo. Man, them boys were crazy. Man, them doggone Seattle Seahawks when Dan Quinn was there was crazy. But you need that personnel. You need that personnel. Davion Wallace in the crib. What's going on? You need this personnel. My information man, Mike McCain, in here. What's going on? He said Jerry Jones is just picking what he's comfortable with. Returning coach with the same philosophy as an old defensive coordinator. It seems like Jerry Jones keeps running it back. Mike McCain, Matt Eberflus. Sounds a lot like Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn wasn't bad. Dan Quinn couldn't stop the run. But one of Dan Quinn's issues was we got to realize why he couldn't stop the run. I don't think Dan Quinn wanted Mozzie Smith. He didn't want him. I think that's why he tried to transform him. He didn't want him. Dan Quinn didn't want Mozzie Smith. What was the one thing Jerry never would give Dan Quinn? Bobby Wagner. Now, Matt Eberflus has a better linebacking core than Dan Quinn ever had. Dan Quinn somewhere right now talking about why didn't he do that for me? But at the same time, you got to get him a one tech. Dustin Roberts said Diggs don't prefer to tackle. And when he started talking about those cornerbacks tackling, I'm telling you, he's listening to the scouting report. Brian Broaddus got that from somebody. And I'm sure, I'm not saying he don't do his own research. But Brian, when he was talking that day, Brian was talking inside stuff. Cowboys got it on the edge. I'm telling you, they don't need no more pass rushers. Defensive ends, we don't need no more. We could actually trade one of them for a cornerback as many as we have. We don't need no more of them. But the Cowboys, if they really want to be serious about this Super Bowl run, one tech, get you one. Get you one. Jared Thomas, appreciate that super chat. Jared Thomas said we should switch back to that 3-4. Jared. Not saying that's not a good idea. Appreciate this next super chat. Jared says, Jared Thomas, he said Sherm, Cam, Brown, or Earl Thomas. Yeah, they were crazy. Now, back to your previous comment, Jared. The 3-4. You know what the problem with it is? One, you need 4 stud linebackers. But 1B, it requires a nose tackle. Still got to get that big man in the middle. You still have to get that big man in the middle. So I don't know if the Cowboys could even run it, because it's still going to require you to go out and get it's going to require you to go out there and get somebody. I think the moment of truth will be the game against the Rams. I think that's going to let us all know where we are. The game against the Rams is going to let us know some things. And I think this is where the Cowboys will start to make moves after the Rams game next week. Let me see here. Michael Smooth, he said, hey, G, the family, welcome back. Angie, miss you. Angie in here somewhere? What's going on, Angie? Good to see you again. She was in here last night. Good to see you. Ron Hanna, he said, for the defense to work, we need our best tacklers to be in the secondary or running. Or running downs. Yeah. Yep. This is why I say, and going back to what Godley is saying, Godley says, what if we go 3-1? So that tells me then that this defense basically said no egos, and we got a run rotation and a pass rotation. I'm telling you, man, this may be a godsend if they do this the right way, because Micah Parsons staying fresh the whole game, getting him out of harm's way, because I'm telling you, you're risking the health of Micah Parsons, letting him line up. He's an edge rusher, but he's not a defensive end. We need to know the difference. He's not a true defensive end. We put him at edge rusher because of his power, his strength, and his quickness. He can rush the passer, but he's not a defensive end. So it would behoove the Cowboys to say, hey, you know what? We're going to do some things different this year. Hey, everybody check your ego at the door. Michael Parsons, you got your contract. We're going to sign him. He's going to get his big contract. Hey, check your egos at the door. We have a rotation. Pass rushers, you come out on 2nd and long, 3rd downs. And if it's 3rd and 1, you still not coming out. You coming out on 2nd and 8s, 3rd and 3 and above. Because 3rd and 3 is still a passing down for some people. 1st downs, if they run, 1st downs, we're going to leave you out. If they try to pass the ball when you're out, we'll make sure we'll mix it up to where sometimes you'll be in on 1st downs and sometimes you won't. If we do that, I think we're doing something. Jerry said could get the nose tackle, move Michael to move Micah back to O-line. Oh, yeah. I think Micah would be crazy in the 3-4. I do. I've always said this. I think he's out of position. I think he's an edge rusher, but I don't think he's a defensive end. Those are two different things. Heck, you could have a cornerback rushing off the edge. But when you talk about a true defensive end, oh, man, King Bay said Matthew is trash. Well, I can tell you this. I don't know if he trash King Base, but I ain't seen nothing on this dude. I looked up some stuff on him, and he ain't done nothing. Poopy D, if he stay healthy, he's going to be the next Ray Lewis for us. Mike McCain said, one thing I give Eberflus credit for is he knows how to turn up them linebackers. Oh, he the linebacker whisperer. Overshawn going to be ultra successful under this man if he can stay healthy. He going to be ultra, and I mean he going to turn Overshawn into a whole different beast. That's how good this guy is with linebackers. He going to turn him into a whole different beast, Mike McCain. I'll give him credit too. Whole different beast. But again, they got to get this man what he needs. Because I can remember back when they first asked Matt Eberflus, what are you going to do to stop the run? I don't know if y'all remember. This was the first press conference, and it was Clarence Hill asking him about it. He said, you need personnel. Need personnel. So I want Jerry to get this man what he wants. Let's check out some more of this. I appreciate the dialogue. Let's get back into Eberflus.
Cowboys had 8 corners to start games last year. We kind of talked about the evaluation process with some of these other guys. A couple guys they had to add last year as they went on. Is it easier to evaluate potential depth pieces and guys you may need to count on later in the year now in training camp than it is during the season? Well, that's part of the process. We got those guys in there now that are playing, and I think that it's going to be good. You know, it's going to be good. You always have to understand, and if you know, players are in or players are out, because that's part of football, right? You're going to lose guys during the course of the year, and you're never going to be at 100%. You have to learn how to move your scheme
One of the most difficult
with the skill set that you have. And I understand at some points you got to cover people, right? And that's you know, it's like a quarterback. At some point you got to throw in the pocket. It's the same thing for a corner. At some point you're going to have to cover. But we're just evaluating that right now as we go, and it's a good thing. And again, there's a lot of talent on this team, and I'm excited about working with those guys. But again, you can't ask a guy to do something that he's not able to do. You got to ask him what he's good at. So.
Marion's kind of talked about how valuable the Breakfast Club meetings have been with you, and what have you kind of learned about him? Just, you know, obviously you can't see him on the field.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about him off the field?
Yeah, I love his energy. You know, I've been fortunate and grateful to be around a bunch of good linebackers, and his energy is right up there with the rest of those guys that are really good players. So he's got a great future ahead of him, and he's really going to be exciting to grow and exciting to watch as he does grow.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com, said in the past that 3 technique defensive tackles are kind of the engine of your defense. What's it been like working with Osa, and do you kind of envision him being the same thing for you now?
Yeah, Osa's been great. You know, I love his work ethic. I love the way he brings guys together. He's been working with the young guys, the young D tackles that we have with Tommy and Jay. Really doing a good job with Mozzie. You know, those, and then having Sally in there has been wonderful as well. So you have 2 really good veterans in Osa and you know, and Sally in there. I think they're really affecting the entire group, not only the D tackles, but it's really good to have Tay back, another good veteran. And that's a really strong room for us, you know, in terms of a veteran presence and mentorship, you know, mentor those guys that are underneath them, the younger guys. So it's really been good. And we really encourage that for our veteran players to really mentor those guys, take those guys under their wings at every position.
I'm pretty excited about what he's saying about Oso Digizua. I think Oso Digizua is going to be great for him because I'd already told you, just doing research on Matt Eberflus' defense, the thing that the saving grace could be his defense is not predicated on the 1 tech, it's predicated on the 3 tech because he depends on his linebackers, one to get behind the 3 tech and help with the run, and then another one to roam side to side to help with the run. So he depends a lot on his linebackers to really help in the run game. And so, again, hey, maybe he can make this work. But I think it would work even easier for him if they put a 1 tech down there that can stop the run.
Top takeaway teams in the league this year. What about this group makes you believe that can
Just practice. You got to just keep practicing it. You know, it's got to be on your mind, and you got to practice it every day. And it's not. This is not something that we're looking for at the end at all. It's something that we look for daily. So we know what we do repeatedly. That's who we are. So we constantly do that every single day. And some days are better than others. And we're going to keep it on the guy's mind. We're going to keep emphasizing it, keep drilling it. You know, I believe that the coaches, the position coaches, are the backbone of the football team. And I believe that those guys, their drill work has to be game-like, has to be set up the right way. And if we keep drilling, whatever it might be, and we'll be good at it. And I truly believe that, you know. And so the guys just keep working at it over and over again. We spend a good portion of our individual drills, if you watch, during that. If we have a 20-minute individual, we'll spend 5 minutes doing takeaways. So it's just drill work and technique.
Matt Eberflus could literally be the guy from the Fantastic Four.
Bill Jones, CBS Texas. Tell us about Jack Sanborn. How big has it been for him? Having been with you the last 3 years?
Yep, good question, Bill. Good to see you. Jack is a really good pro. You know, and he's been with us for a few years now, and man, if you talk about the consummate pro, you know, showing up early, staying late, knowing his stuff, perfecting his technique, being in elite condition, he's been a joy to work with. And Jack makes plays. You know, he's a playmaker, and he had an opportunity to start for us a few times. At the last stop we were at, and it's been really good to watch him grow. And I'm more excited about this year for him than anything because he's changed his body. He's done a really good job of adjusting his body. His movement skills are, you know, and his efficiency of movement, as I said earlier, have really improved. And he's really getting closer and closer to the ball, and he's making a lot of plays in practice.
Jack Sanborn is going to be good for the Cowboys.
Who's that? Okay, yeah, Kenneth Murray. He's been good. Again, we had him in the spring. You know, he's been here early part of camp, and I'm excited for his leadership. He's a different athlete than Jack. You know, he's got some good pop to him, good strike, really good movement, and he's got good command of the huddle, and he does a really good job out there communicating. And we're going to be able to use him in a couple of different ways, but I'm excited for him and his opportunity that he has here with the Cowboys too.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. Matt, from the time the staff came together, was there time for you to acquire players that would fit your scheme? This first year, you were having to make the scheme fit the players that you.
Well, first and foremost, I think Will McClay and the scouting staff have done an outstanding job, pro and college, you know, through the draft, of acquiring players, you know, in a short amount of time. You know, when I first got here, I think we added maybe, you know, eight or so guys, and maybe maybe I'm missing it by one, but and all good players. You know, so we're excited about where we are. It certainly has changed a lot, and that credit goes to Will McClay and his staff. I mean, that is an outstanding job of. Will knows me. I know Will. We've been together for a long time. For that 7 or 8 years I was here before. And our conversations are really easy, you know, in terms of watching a player, looking at a player. Yes, he fits this. They already know the positions. And we didn't take that for granted. You know, we went through with the whole scouting staff when we first got together and really went through it again with the Jones family. Hey, how has your scheme changed since the last time you were here? You know, what's the difference? And we really talked about that in depth at each position. And the position coach did a really good job of outlining that so we could acquire the right players through free agency first and then the draft.
Hi, Coach. Sydney Staples, DT10 Sports. When you're talking about right now, you're evaluating players, what are the key aspects that you're looking for?
Yeah, and let me back that up a little bit. Really, we're first and foremost educating the players, you know, about the scheme and the technique. That's our first job. And I always talk to the coaches, hey, we're here to teach and educate. And we're here to serve those guys, and we're here to push them. So that's first and foremost. And then when we have the days off, then we evaluate, you know, and do our, you know, put our time in there. And we evaluate the number. You know, we really look at the guy, step back, don't talk about personality, character, all that stuff. Just look at the number and evaluate the player, because you got to be neutral when you're doing that. And we do a good job of doing that and seeing where the guy fits in. And if he's playing our style, our style is not easy to play. It's not for everybody. And it's very difficult and it's demanding physically. So some guys will be very good at it and they buy into that, and some guys will not. And those guys will not be here. So we got to make sure that we're evaluating that as we go. And we're very neutral to that. It's either, but the guys that we've acquired, the guys that we brought in, the guys that are sitting in the seats, they have a lean towards that style. And we're going to take them from here when they come in, and we're going to bring them up to here in terms of style, just based on what we standardize and what we look at every day and what we put in front of them.
Now, I do agree with him that the coaching matters. Coaching does matter. But we have to understand, and I think Mazi Smith is a prime example of this, is that coaching can only take a player so far. You can't take a player sometimes beyond his physical ability or, of what he's able to do. And so Mazi Smith is a prime example of a player that the Cowboys have. He just can't do beyond, he can't go any further. So rather than beating your head against the wall as it applies to him, you're going to have to be smart. You're going to have to just say, hey, you know what, we're going to have to do something here. And you're not cutting Mazi Smith. They're not cutting Mazi Smith. You figure out other ways you can use him. And then you say, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a move. We're going to make a move right here. USMC, appreciate you. He said, appreciate the super chat. USMC said, Eberflus is shady. Don't trust him. Second guy trying to sabotage poor Mazi. Second guy trying to sabotage poor Mazi. Not that Mazi is helping himself much. But you know what, USMC? Let me say this. Mazi Smith is a victim in a sense. He's a victim of, he came to a team to where maybe the ownership wanted him, maybe Will McClay wanted him, but I don't think the defensive coordinator wanted him. I don't even think Mike McCarthy wanted him. So when you bring in a guy that don't fit a system per se, because if Dan Quinn's your DC, then you need to get him the players that he needs. Don't kick against the go-ads. I mean, no. You get him the players that he needs. And when you go in the draft, unless there is just some player there that you say, no, we can't pass on this guy. Okay, if that guy's there, we don't even have to have the discussion. But if the guy is there and if the coordinator and the head coach are telling you, no, we don't want, he's not going to work for us, well, you get what you get. And Mazi is a victim to me that Dan Quinn didn't want him, but Dan Quinn was stuck with him. So Dan Quinn tried to adjust Mazi and make him fit his system when he knew full well he was never going to fit his system. Then we got Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer rolls in and says, well, I'm going to let him gain his weight back. I actually like a bigger defensive tackle, a bigger one tech. Let's get him back to where he was. And I thought last year he made some moves. He took a few steps, and we were like, okay, with the steps he took under Zimmer, he'll be definitely good. And what happens? Matt Eberflus comes in here. Rod Marinelli, disciple. Liking the same type of players that Dan Quinn likes. And I guess now Will McClay, long, lean, and fast. And tries to turn Mazi back into what Dan Quinn was trying to turn him into. And now we're back to square one with Mazi. He ain't got enough weight to withstand when somebody runs at him like that, like they did in practice yesterday. It's sad. It's sad. And now, they're probably just going to have to move him all the way back to the 3 tech, and depending upon down the distance, he could play 1 tech and probably get upfield and rush the quarterback. But on running downs, he's going to be a liability. It's a sad testimony. That's why it's important to get people that fit schemes. You got to get people to fit schemes. Because, man, there's just some people, man, you can't take Michael Jordan and make him into a center. He's just not going to be successful as he could be if you're going to take him out of his position. I mean, that's anybody. You just can't do it. And so I don't know if it's necessarily sabotage, USMC. If you can use the word you want to, I'm not offended by it, but I'll use the politically correct terminology. Definitely didn't put him in a position to succeed. And now, we're just like hoping that Mozzie is going to, we're hoping he's going to do better in the future. It's sad testimony. It is what it is. And again, I do believe the linebacking core, Dan Quinn would have been salivating over the linebackers that Matt Eberflus is going to have on his defense. So I will say Jerry did give him the defenses that the linebackers that he wanted, or the linebackers that he needs. Sanborn is going to be an absolute beast. Maurice for the Cowboys is going to be great for us also at linebacker. So the Cowboys got some pieces there. So when I look at the defense, the edge, much improved. Linebackers, much improved. In the middle of the defense, regressed. Also, Diggy Zua is great. He's going to probably take another step. But Mozzie at that one is not going to be what he needs to be. So I still say at the tackle position, we step back. And then at the safety and the cornerback position, it's yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. We'll see what it is during the season. But I also think the Rams game is going to tell us some things too. And I hope the Cowboys start making some moves based on that Rams game. I hope the Cowboys really start making some moves. My man Robert M31 in the house. What's going on? Bernard, that's what I'm explaining now. Yeah, they did Mozzie dirty. And the one who I say did him dirty is Jerry really thought he was all that in a bag of chips. Him and Clay, obviously him and Clay thought he was all that in a bag of chips, which is strange to me that Matt Eberflus says that Clay knows what he wants. I mean, Will McClay knows what he wants because Dan Quinn likes the same type of players and he went and got Mozzie Smith. Make it make sense. Y'all make it make sense. Who wanted Will McClay? I mean, who wanted Mozzie? He don't fit that description. They did him a disservice. And the crazy thing is, man, this dude will probably go somewhere else and be a superstar. Man, he probably go somewhere else and be a superstar, man. C-Bay said, I'm not giving up on he said, I've given up on the guy. I know it's not all his fault, but results matter. And they got him in the wrong. And watch what I tell you. Man, Mozzie, if he does go somewhere else, he'll probably be a superstar. Brandy Mahoney, yeah. The one-tech position is where we're hurting. And I was actually all about Mozzie when I thought that Mozzie was going to kind of just pick up where he left off last year, still be the same weight, but his technique improved. And then to hear that he lost weight, and then to hear Brian come out talking about he going to be in the 1 and the 2. Darren said he took Ozempic in the offseason, played PS5. I mean, they made him lose weight, and I'm like, come on, man. Just doing this dude a disservice. Oh, yeah, straight up facts, Poopy D. Cowboys run a new cycle. But again, I appreciate Matty Eberflus. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but I am a little bit concerned because I think a one-tech would make his scheme way better. And I think bringing in Gilly would make his scheme way better too. Mike McCain, he says, if the Cowboys ever get rid of him, I bet you any amount of money that Jim Harbaugh snatches him up quick. I'm telling you, Mike McCain, he going to go somewhere else. If the Cowboys wind up trading him or releasing him, he going to go somewhere else and be a superstar. He's going to go somewhere else and be a superstar. You watch what I tell you. I equate him to how I think about Deuce Vaughn. The Cowboys drafted Deuce Vaughn for the wrong reason because his father's on the staff. Deuce Vaughn does not fit the scheme that Mike McCarthy was running. I don't even think he's going to fit the scheme that Brian Schottenheimer wants. Deuce Vaughn will probably be released from this team. He's going to go to another team, and he'll be a superstar. You watch what I tell you. But it is what it is. You have to, when you start getting players, you just have to get who fits the scheme. You just can't bring in anybody and say they're going to be, oh, he's this, he's going to play great on our team. You got to get people that fit the scheme. Gregory Davis, I agree with you on this too. I don't think Eberflus really won Mozzie. I don't either. But I believe he's being told, we drafted him, see what you can do. This is why I told y'all before, I believe the Cowboys are going to flash in 2025, but I think the true championship season is 2026. I think the Super Bowl is next year, as they're going to work through these personnel issues. They're going to work through these personnel issues, and then I think I think when they work through these personnel issues, they're going to be ready to go. I really do. Mike McCain said Michael Parsons wanted Mozzie. I like how you said Michael Parsons because Michael Parsons, because that's what Jerry called him. Michael Parsons was the one selling him in the draft. Yep, Jerry Jones turned around and got him. Hey, I said this last year. Mike McCain. I don't pay players to be personnel guys. They don't have time. They don't have time to be personnel guys. I don't pay players to be personnel. I'm listening to my front office on my personnel. I'm not listening to them. Uncle Charles said, Mozzie, let's talk Cowboys. Maybe this is not the right system. That's it. I think we're talking about system with Mozzie. I really do. I think what we're talking about is a system. He just don't fit the system. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think the previous coaches wanted him. But it is what it is now. They got him. Okay, Sean Shizzle. Okay. Sean Shizzle. Okay, thank you for calling me out. Sean Shizzle, okay. Let me not say he's going to be a superstar. He's going to go somewhere else, and I think he's going to be good. How about that part? I think he's going to go somewhere else, and I think he'll be good. C-Base said Deuce Vaughn in KC sounds wild. I guarantee you this. I bet you that the coach over there, Andy Reid, I bet you he'd be able to do something with him. I guarantee he would. Alfredo Morales, he said, what's going on, Alfredo? He said, Mozzie's problem is twofold. He says, one, the boys can't decide where to play him. That's it. They done moved him. They done made him lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. 1 tech, 3 tech, one. They don't know what to do with him. That's it. And I don't think he fits the system. I don't think he fits the system. But I do recall though, Sean Shizzle, I do think I remember Michael Parsons wanting Mozzie, if I'm not mistaken. USMC said, G, you said it. And I noticed last year, Mozzie made progress. With Toya backing up, they was okay at 1 tech. Not great, but good. But no, Eberflus messed it up. USMC. I thought he had made steps. He looked pretty good under Zimmer. He flashed under Zimmer. I thought we had settled this. And then they turned around and they made him lose weight again. Don't understand it. Don't understand it. Because again, I'm going to push back. I'm going to push back on Matt Eberflus. Y'all ready? I'm going to push back on Matt Eberflus. You said Will McClay know what you like. So are we talking about at the 1 tech? So if he knows what you like at the 1 tech, you made Mozzie Smith lose weight. Can somebody explain why you bought in Jay Toya? If I'm not mistaken, Jay Toya is not long, slim, and whatever those 3 adjectives were. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. I could be wrong here. I could. Okay. I just want to make sure. I just wanted to make sure, because if you telling me he knows you like him long, lean, and whatever the case may be, I'm kind of wondering about Jay Toya. Cause this dude Jay Toya is every bit of 342 pounds. Why get Jay Toya? Jay Toya 6'2", 342. He ain't long, slim, and long, lean, and fast. That's not Jay Toya's description. Jay Toya is a one tech. But again, I understand what do we expect him to say? He's just saying what he needs to say. With the as Superstar Guardian X or Star Guardian X, and I've been saying this already, I think he has the assurance that the Cowboys are going to bring him in somebody. Let's listen to the last few minutes.
That you evaluate players now different than when you were previously with the Cowboys a few years ago?
Not so much. Not so much. It's very similar.
Hey, Coach, Dave Knight from Sports. I keep hearing the players saying that your idea of defense is violent. What is important about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, all good football is done with great technique, great speed, and great physicality, or what you say, violence.
Don't let anybody fool you, though. Those three things are great, but they come with a player. You need a player that can do those three things. You can't line me up and do those things. I'm not doing those things for you. I play wide receiver. I'm not doing those things for you. You got to get players that fit what you want to do. You have to. And I'm in total agreement with Matt. I like a lot of things he say. I think he's going to be a good coach for us. But they need to get him the personnel. And I think he'll look like a great coach. Personnel matters. Personnel matters and coaching matters. And you need the right combination of the two. I don't find it to be strange that these coaches that coach with Bill Belichick, they were Super Bowl winning coaches. They go off on their own and they can't do the same thing. It's not the same system. They were not responsible for picking the personnel. They were not responsible for doing a lot of things. But some of the things that they were doing, because they had excellent players, and when you got talented players, man, you teach talented players basic stuff. And when they execute it, man, you look like a genius. Shoot, you look like a genius when you got talented players. So all this stuff is fine, man, but you got to have them players. They need to get them that one tech.
That right there is what it's all about. You know, how can you maximize your body to create power, to create leverage, to create strike through technique, right? And then through desire, because that's what it really is. And that's what we do. We try to maximize the guys. You know, and you guys know that I coach, Sean Lee, and I love talking about Sean, and I will talk about Sean every chance I get.
Yeah, he's a monster.
But you talk about a guy who maximized his potential and maximized his body. That's a guy that you look at. So he learned how to play with leverage with his body, power, and strike. And the effort piece was there.
Now, let's be real about Sean Lee. Sean Lee was an athletic freak. Period in the story. Sean Lee was an athletic freak. Matt, I understand what you're saying. And teaching him makes him that much better. But you had a whole lot of clay to work with. When you start telling me what you're going to make a guy into, I need to know what kind of clay he is. Sean Lee was easy clay, man. Sean Lee wasn't Play-Doh. No, Sean Clay was the real. I mean, who we're talking about here? I mean, he was the real stuff. Sean Lee was clay, man, pure clay. I mean, you making vases and fine, nice vases with this dude. Not silly putty and Play-Doh you getting children to play with. Shoot, Sean Lee, that's the kind of clay you want to work with. But you can only get so much out of a player. You take me. You're not putting me at the one tech position. You can teach me everything you just said. You're not getting that out of me. You're not. That's not, I don't fit that. When you start talking about your system, you have to get players that fit your system. And when you bring in those players, you want to make sure you're working with as much clay as you can. There got to be something there to work with.
Desire was there. But that's a day-to-day accomplishment. You got to go grind every single day to get that done. And that's what our guys are doing now.
Dan Greenspan, Associated Press.
You've been where Brian is now, making the switch from coordinator to head coach. Are the jobs more fundamentally the same or more fundamentally different? How different is being a head coach?
Well, I think it's a added responsibility. It really is, because you're now in charge of practice plans and the logistics of it. That's a big part of it. Talking to the beautiful media 4 times or 5 times a week. That's another big part of it. So, and then really, getting the culture right and the staff right and getting together with offense and defense. And now you got to go across the aisle and visit with all the defensive guys or the offensive guys.
Mike McCain, throw that link down there again. I'll pick it up. Let's see Michael Parsons' reaction when they got Mozzie.
Vice versa. So it's you got to have great people with you, and I think Shadi does. Has a great support staff. That's the number one thing that you have to have, and I think he's done a wonderful job of selecting that, to really help him do his job really well. I think that's first and foremost, and he's going to be great at it. And it's but it's just added responsibility, and then you're still calling the offense, and all that. So, but yeah, it's a different experience.
I think too, when you start comparing, because they're asking him like, how's it going to be different from Brian Schottenheimer, blah blah blah, and I believe each man's experience is different. But the thing that I think, just reading up on Matt Eberflus and that debacle that they had there when they let go of him. I mean, Chicago made their own history. They've never fired anybody at that point of the season, and that just goes to show you how bad Matt Eberflus was as a head coach. Matt Eberflus is better as a position coach. Now, after he's been here with Shotty, and if they win, and I think they're going to win a championship in the next 3 years, and I think it's next year. I think we flashed this year, but I think the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. Y'all been hearing me say this for the longest. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. But the difference between him and Shotty is a way better communicator. This is Schottenheimer's strength. Communication, his ability to encourage, his team building, his psychology of how he builds a family. He gets a team to trust him, gets a team to trust the entire staff. Brian Schottenheimer has been genius. When you look at what Ben Johnson has been doing over there in Chicago, let me tell y'all something for everybody who wanted Ben Johnson, including me. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not ever going to be so dogmatic on a point when it comes to a player, a coach, or whatever, to where I don't reserve the right to change my mind when I'm wrong. Shoot. Ben Johnson, we'll see what happens when they get on the field and start playing. But as far as the way he's coaching, shoot, I tell you what, you wouldn't want that in here. You wouldn't want that Ben Johnson stuff he's doing over there in Chicago already here. Caleb Williams is suffering under him already. Brian Schottenheimer is a different kind of coach. And I think this is why he's going to have a lot more success than Matt Eberflus, because Matt Eberflus is talking about all the stuff that Brian Schottenheimer has, blah, blah, blah. Well, you didn't have that? You were the head coach. They didn't let you do that? You were the head coach. It's not in his DNA to be like Brian Schottenheimer, but it may be in there now. Once he learns from Brian Schottenheimer, and if he gets another opportunity, he's probably going to pick up on some of these things. But Matt Eberflus, the place where I think he's going to be fine is Matt Eberflus. He's a linebacker whisperer. He seems to be very good with the X's and the O's, very good at teaching. You can leave all the encouragement to Brian Schottenheimer, but as far as all the teaching and stuff goes, the technique, all that, yeah. Matt is back. Matt is back where he needs to be. Position coach. Brian Schottenheimer, we're going to see what it looks like, but I think Brian Schottenheimer is going to be a great head coach, and so far he already has been.
Go ahead, Dan. How do you go about the tactician part? Being great on game day is what got you to this position, what's got Brian to this position. How did you balance, hey, I've got all these other responsibilities, but I still need to have a really great game plan?
Yeah, like I said, Clayton Adams is the best in the business, and we'll see that as he starts to grow in his coordinator position. He's got a lot of support, a lot of good guys around him, and I think that's the first and foremost. So he's able to, do that tactically on a game day, during the week, and all those things. It's no different than when I was there. You got to make sure that you have guys that are there to support you, and the very best guys.
Whenever Mike is out on the field, we obviously see him interacting with a lot of different guys. What's the value that he has brought by being here, whether that be on the field or behind the scenes?
Yeah, he's been great. Mike has been awesome. He's been engaged in the meetings. He's been engaged on the field during the drills. I mean, shoot, he's in there with the pads on. You guys have seen that, and he's been wonderful. And the biggest thing with him, and he's talked about with me, is that he wants to stay on pace and making sure that he's up with the scheme. So when it does happen and he does come in and start working, he knows exactly what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it.
Yeah, so we don't have to wait until Thanksgiving, like Michael Parsons said last year and said we finally getting Mike Zimmer's scheme. It's Thanksgiving, bro. And you saying we just... Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, I'm glad he's in camp. Get this stuff all down now. We don't need to be talking about no during Thanksgiving.
And he's been right on point with that. And that's been really cool to see how he's really helping other players, young guys. But he's been great.
Jerry's complimented his intelligence and his learning scheme and developing and pass rushing. What have you learned from him as far as
Elite. He's the elite intelligence, obviously an elite talent. And we're excited to be able to move him around, throughout the whole entire line. But we're also excited about the other pass rushers that we do have to create other mismatches. And Mike is a big part of that because, he's got to get the most of the attention, and that'll free up other guys. But we're also find ways to free him up too.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you, Flus.
All right.
I can tell you, and I could be totally wrong. I can tell you how they're going to free him up. I got a strange feeling that Michael Parsons is not going to be playing edge rusher he's not going to be rushing from the edge all the time. The Cowboys got true defensive ends now. They could literally put some true defensive ends out there, and they could run Michael Parsons they could line up 3 linebackers out there and let him rush from the linebacker position. Yeah, the Cowboys got options now. They did a great job. They did a great job with personnel. Let me read a couple more of these super chats. USMC, appreciate the super chat. Okay, yeah, I read this one already. Yeah, again, Mozzie made progress last year, and they just reverted him back to where he was. Mike McCain, drop that link. Let me see what you're talking about. drop that link. All right, so what we'll do before we go to this Tyler Guyton issue, because we already pretty much know where Tyler Guyton is, let's roll over here to Clayton Adams real quick. Clayton Adams, I'm very interested to see kind of how the Cowboys are going to let him do what what he needs to do, because we already know that Jerry has made it blatantly clear. Brian Schottenheimer got that job only because he's going to call plays too. And I wonder if there will be a day, depending upon how this all goes, will they try to hand over the play calling to Clayton Adams? But Brian Schottenheimer made a statement a few weeks ago that was kind of encouraging and shocking at the same time, because he said when we win the Super Bowl, other teams, and then when other teams come and start trying to get our coaches, and one of the coaches they're gonna want to get is Clayton Adams. I think we're gonna win one too. I think we're gonna get one under Brian Schottenheimer, and I say minimum we're gonna get one for sure. We're gonna get one. We're gonna get a Super Bowl under Brian Schottenheimer, but I think they're gonna have to. It seems to me they're gonna need another year. They're going to need one more year to work through personnel, and we'll see what they do. Leading up into the first game, we'll see what they do at the trade deadline. But I do think the Cowboys need one more year to continue to tweak this personnel, and I think next year I don't think nobody gonna want to see the Cowboys. But let's roll this thing with Clayton Adams since we got him. Let's see what he's talking about.
So what do you do at left tackle until the guy returns?
We create as much competition as we can. That's the easy answer to it. Obviously it's unfortunate anytime you got guys that's going to miss. But it's also one of the reasons that we don't really believe in the kind of that old mentality of get the starters ready to play. We need to get everybody ready to play, and everybody on this roster needs to be getting better. And it sounds like a cliche thing, but I 100% believe in that, and I know that the head coach does too. So there's danger and opportunity, and we need to give several guys a chance to go out there and see what they can do.
Now, since they mentioned left tackle, let's tackle the subject matter tonight of Tyler Guyton, since we're right here, and then we'll continue with Clayton Adams. I've already said what I believe the solution for Tyler Guyton is. They're talking it's 4 to 6 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he played in the opening game against Philly. But if he's not going to play, because I would prefer, if they need to wait longer and don't let this become a nagging injury. Let him fully heal and bring him back around game 3. In the way, to me, that you don't miss a beat. I know a lot of people have talked about moving Awesome Richards over there and all these other things. This is not popular with many, but this is where I am on this. Tyler Smith is the best offensive lineman on the team. Best offensive lineman on the team. I would slide Tyler Guyton over to left tackle. And to keep continuity, so we don't have to re-scramble the whole offensive line. One of my favorite offensive linemen on the Dallas Cowboys team is this dog, Brock Hoffman. Put him on the field. Put him on the field at left guard. Put him on the field. I guarantee you, Ty Smith, Brock Hoffman, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele will tear this thing down. Brock Hoffman. Absolutely Brock Hoffman. Those, to me, those are the two simplest moves. If I'm the Cowboys, Tyler Smith, get him signed this week. Get him signed this week, slide him over to left tackle. Brock Hoffman, left guard. Let's keep going. Awesome Richards, yeah, let's get him some. Yeah, okay, we want to get him some reps in there. Awesome Richards, yeah, let's get you ready to back up Ty Smith, because Ty Smith's going to be the left tackle. We cannot be experimenting. I'm telling y'all, if you are not listening to me, if the Cowboys can mess around and go 4-0 in the first 4 games, which is absolutely possible. Man, the Cowboys mess around and go 4-0 in the first 4 games. You're talking about 13 games remaining. 13 games remaining. You're already halfway to a winning season. You only have to win half. And really less than half. You only have to win 6 of your next 13 games. You 10-6. Surely the Cowboys could win 7 of the last 13. You go 4-0 in the beginning. Man, 11-6 ain't nothing. 12-5 ain't nothing. 13-4, which is the hump. We have not been able to reach that 13-4 again. How about we get back to 13 wins? I mean, that'll be a great achievement for a first-year coach. But I'm telling us, if we can get everything solidified and be ready and not be scrambling in the first 4 games, not be doing a whole lot of, trying this and trying that. How about we, hey, man, we already know Ty Smith can play left tackle because he came in this league playing left tackle. Let's move him back to left tackle. He's only been working with one of the greatest left tackles with the last name Smith also. He's only been working with him. Put him at left tackle, bring in Brock Hoffman, left guard. Let's keep rolling. That's where I am on this. I think it's a no-brainer. You want to work out Austin Richards? Okay, go ahead. Okay, let him get a few reps. Second team. We going first team. And we running Ty Smith. We running Ty Smith at left tackle. That's where I am on this. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm gonna come down here in a moment in the comments and come to the super chats too.
He's certainly got plenty of talent and also a good guy who's smart and tough and willing to learn, and he's going to be, in that mix of guys that are going to get more opportunities now as well.
DLLS Cowboys, I guess it was the best of the situation. I mean, I know there was some talk about him. I don't know if you feared ACL, but I mean, it's good news. Just if it could be good news, it's just a fractured bone that you have a sigh of relief that okay, it's not for the season.
I don't know 100% all the specifics of everything, but that's certainly what it felt like yesterday. Was that the tone on the entire thing changed. Other than that, yeah, that's really all I know. Is it sounds like he's going to be back at some point.
Can you just talk about what you've seen from him? Since you came aboard, certainly he struggled a little bit as a rookie. Certainly he's been out there by all accounts since the end of the season. What have you seen from him? Can you talk about development you've seen from him?
Yeah, I think what you see is a young guy who's getting an opportunity to play and is growing and maturing. One of the things that I think that you see in this league relatively consistently with offensive linemen is they start to hit that 20-game start mark, and you do really start to see a difference in those guys. I don't know exactly what his total starts are. Obviously, there weren't a ton of them in college from what I remember during the draft process, but the bottom line is you get better at football by playing football, and Tyler Guyton is no exception to that rule. He is growing and learning and improving, and we're really excited about the direction that he was heading and will be heading when he gets back.
This is why the Tyler Guyton injury sucks. He needed those reps, especially going against Donovan Ezeraku and Sam Williams. He was giving them boys fits. Absolutely loving it. So it's a little bit of a setback, but I think he'll be fine. Let me go to some of your comments real quick. There's a couple comments in here. The super chats here. Let me read these right here. I thought this was very interesting. Jared Ism, what's going on? Appreciate the super chat. He said, I think Eberflus is going to shock you. His coach defenses were excellent against the run. They used to give the Ravens fits. And again, I think he's going to be a good coach, maybe even a great coach, if they give him what he needs. They need to give him that one tick. I think it'll make everything he's trying to do easier. I really do. Excuse me. I think it'll set him. I think it'll really set him up to succeed. But I do think he's gonna be fine. Don't get me wrong. Dan Quinn did fine. Where we couldn't really do anything with Dan Quinn was the playoffs. You need to hold teams. One of those San Francisco losses, I think they scored 23 points. You need defenses that sometimes in the playoffs can hold teams below 20. Hold them to 14, 13. That's how defenses win championships. You fix it to where your team don't have to score a lot of points, even if they can. And don't go into games thinking, well, as long as we hold the team to 20 or 23 points, we should be able to win. Man, you never know. Any given Sunday. So that's why you always want to have that defense with a mindset of you ain't scoring today. Star Guardian X, he says, man, this one right here. We were talking about this when they first got Clayton Adams, I believe. I'm shocked they haven't brought in Will. Will Hernandez is coming off an injury, so he may not be healthy yet. I'm actually surprised the Cowboys hadn't brought him in. I remember a lot of us were talking about him. I'm surprised the Cowboys haven't brought him in. Shocker, for sure. Jamal also says, Mazi is a perfect example as to why we should have stopped drafting guys from Michigan a long time ago. Taco Charlton should have taught us. Boy, you want to talk about a crazy bus, boy. That boy Taco Charlton. I bet they still having nightmares about him. Oh man, Madman, you came this hard on Mozzie, man. I think he can play somewhere. Madman said there's no system for Mozzie. He needs to retire. Come on, man. Gee, I believe the Cowboys are waiting to see what happens with Wilkins and Samuel Jr. injury front, and they're going to pick these guys up for the cheap. Excuse me on that. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to get those guys, but I do think you're going to see movement. You're going to see movement after, I think, the Rams game. Wait, stop it, Beef. I ain't going to post this, what you just said about Mark Holmes. I ain't going to even say it. Brandy said 1 tech, 3 tech, no tech. Yep. You got to get that 1 tech for him. I tell you, get that 1 tech for him, he'll look like an absolute genius. I promise you he'll look like a genius with a 1 tech. Oh, yeah. I seen some talk about Treylon Burks, too. I think the Cowboys definitely need to bring in something better than what they have right now. For sure. They need to bring in something better than what they have. But again, I think after the Rams game, the Cowboys are going to probably start making some moves. And I think one of the things that one of the things I think the Cowboys are being wary of is the Cowboys don't want to pick up the phone first. Because they know if you pick up the phone first, you're going to be took. You pick up the phone first, you got to give up something. But if somebody else call you, then you get to dictate the issues. Ron Hunter said, "Nah, G, they know Mozzie ain't it from practice, but it's cruel. What Dan Quinn did, this man killed his confidence." Yeah, he hurt him bad. Yeah, he hurt him bad for sure. And they're trying to build his confidence back up. Daniel Eberflus doesn't have the scheme to stop the run. And that's one of the reasons why, Daniel, I believe if he brings in a good 1 tech, it'll take care of itself. I really do. I think it'll take care of itself. Ultra Cowboy and Vinny Hagen are clearly wrong. Okay, what are you talking about on them? All right, let's get to some more of Clayton Adams, but Clayton, I think he's gonna be pretty good. Mike McCain said, I mentioned it early in the chat. He said, Jalen Smith, with that nasty injury, he got so much out of the time he had with Jalen Smith. Man, that Jalen Smith thing was crazy to me. I can't even believe we picked up Jalen Smith. It was a great story. The Joneses seem to love these stories. But I did a video the other day about people talking about the fact that Jake Ferguson got signed before Michael Parsons. I'm like, man, y'all don't understand. The Cowboys have done this stuff before. They signed Jalen Smith a year early when Dak Prescott was supposed to get a contract. Boy, you want to talk about diabolical. Ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. Robert M. said, and by the way, while we're at it, being completely honest, Eberflus wasn't my first choice for defensive coordinator. Man, I'm telling you, he couldn't wait to flock to him. He couldn't wait to flock to him. But again, I think it's going to be fine. I just think they need to get him a little bit better personnel. I really do. All right, let's check out some more of this interview here. Clayton Adams.
Clayton Todd Archer with ESPN. Tyler Smith played left tackle his rookie year. Is that would you see him there, or is it
there? It is.
Keep that core in the middle together.
I think it's way too early to tell on that. Obviously, you love when players have good position flexibility, and he certainly has tons of flexibility, but that's not something that we've decided at this point.
And then can you talk about the dynamic between you and Shoddy and what the meetings are like? I know he's calling it on the field, but how you guys go about your day-to-day business?
Yeah, no, it's been outstanding for me because I have someone who's got years and years and years of on-the-job experience in my job. So, the areas that I know that I need to improve on and the things that maybe I'm not totally looking ahead on because I haven't been in this situation, it keeps me from getting blindsided because, he's there to let me know, hey, you better be on top of this, you better be on top of that, or, just continually giving me feedback, which is incredibly valuable in my situation, is not necessarily criticizing, but just saying, hey, if you go about it like this, you're going to get this result. You go about it like this, you're going to get that result. And so, I am 100% the beneficiary of his experience in the past.
I'm sorry, but being the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys has to be one of the greatest jobs in the NFL. You're going to be the offense coordinator and you're not going to call plays. Can the job, and I'm sure there are things that you still have to do, but it's an easy job, but and at the same time, it's probably a job to where if you're a person that wants to call plays, it's probably a job that you probably be like, dang, I wish I could call plays. So
I'm Shota with the Athletic. What kind of stood out to you? I know it's early, but just from this running back group.
Yeah, I really like our running back group. I don't pay attention to a whole bunch of what's being said, but I really like the entire group. I think that there's two experienced vets in there that you can tell, guys that have played a lot of football in the National Football League, and I think there's good young talent. So there's all of them have a little bit of a different dynamic to them, but I'm excited about the different roles that can be carved out, and excited to see who can put themselves ahead in that group.
What's your
Skeptical Fan is back in the building. Skeptical Fan, what's going on? Skeptical Fan said we need more defensive tackles and corners. I think we need a defensive tackle, and I think what we need is a true one-tech. Corners, I think we need Stephon Gilmore. You tell me what you think, Skeptical Fan. But I think they definitely need to improve those rooms. But again, edge rusher, the edge, defensive end improved. Linebackers improved. Safety we're going to see. But cornerback and tackle, man, we got work to do.
early impressions of George Pickens?
Oh, GP's awesome. Yeah, I really like having him around. He's a big personality. He's fun. The two most important qualities to me is do you love football and are you a good teammate? And both of those things, he's been 100% so far.
Woo! Can I get your email address? Because I want to send you $1 gazillion of free stuff so you don't light your money on fire.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Last season, a lot of inside zone type movement from the offensive line. When you have that type of marriage of the guys and the experience they had last year, and you're coming in and you're trying to do your things as well, take a guy like Terrence Steele for perspective. You get a guy that gets out in space.
C-Base, I forgot to mention that. If there is one place we improve the most, C-Base, is coaching. Coaching is the place we improve the most. I mean, all the way around. We changed out everything except for the tight ends coach. Coaching is the best thing we did. I agree with you.
Really well. How are you able to marriage your concepts with what they were already doing so well in the past?
I think at the end of the day, if you were to watch all 32 teams in the NFL practice in the offseason, what you would see is that everybody kind of has the ability to do every scheme. That's been my experience with the places that I've been. And so the exciting part for me is always finding little things that maybe a guy that struggled in certain schemes is able to do well in other schemes. And so that's still where we're at right now is what do we do good? What do our guys do good? What is the head coach really comfortable calling? What sets up big plays on the outside really well? What marries our play action the best? Those are the processes that we're having right now. He's doing a great job. Extremely competitive, tough, mature beyond his years, which are all things that really stood out about him in the draft process. I'm excited to continue to watch him grow during camp.
Hey, Clay. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. A lot of rightful talk and eyes are on guys like Terrence Steele and then some of the younger guys, the Tylers, but not a lot is being said about Cooper Beebe coming off of a solid rookie season at center. As an offensive-minded coach, what are you seeing from Cooper that stands out the most, and what might he be in this league?
I think that one area that he's really grown is just communicating and kind of commanding the communication within the group, demanding that people are listening and making his IDs and some of the decisions that he has to make on the spot. He's making those with conviction right now, which we're excited about. The guy he's strong. He's got good balance. He's tough. He's very consistent. And, just like everybody else, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. Not as much of what happened yesterday, because I do see him growing.
Also, to follow up on that, obviously this is a reunion with Cooper Beebe and Connor Riley. What has that relationship been like from your observation?
I think that's to our advantage for sure, because he's got a great feel for what type of player Cooper Beebe is. And also I think that when you have a relationship like that, that you're not having to build as much of one. I'm sure their relationship is even going deeper now that he's coaching him in the professional realm. But it's an unbelievable foundation to start on with a player, because anytime you're trying to coach a guy, whether it's from a position coach perspective or a coordinator perspective or an assistant position coach's perspective, if they know you, they know how you are and that you care about them, they're willing to listen to you even a little bit more if they know that you're in their corner. And obviously, Beebe and Riley have that.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. When you have guys injured like Rob Jones and Tyler Guyton, you've got to move some guys around. How do you determine position flex for some guys, whether they can move from guard to tackle or the other way around, if maybe it's something they haven't done as much or they need to go to the opposite side of the line?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do it. And nobody is ever excited about guys getting injured. It happens to be part of the game, but it's an unfortunate part of the game. But the other side of that, and I think I alluded to it earlier and maybe even said it backwards, but there's opportunity when you have adversity. And so there's going to be guys that are getting reps that they wouldn't have been getting. And there's going to be guys that are getting reps at different spots that they might not have been getting before. And all of that, to a certain extent, can be exciting because we're going to find something out. We're going to find something out that we didn't know before. And I think that can be to our advantage, and that's the way that we need to look at it. We get the guys back as fast as we can get them back off of injury, but in the meantime, we need to be excited about attacking the opportunity that we have to put guys at different positions, develop them, and coach them there.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You kind of said earlier that every team has the capability to run different things, but then you kind of refine it as you go. Tyler Smith talks about 5 as 1 when it comes to offensive linemen. How much are you also trying to find out what each of the collectives kind of do well in terms of your offensive line combinations and refine it from there?
Yeah, 100%. To me, that's the starting point is, are we better at outside zone combos or inside zone combos? Are we better at pin pull schemes? Are we great getting out on the perimeter and making blocks in space? What's our range look like? Those are all really, really fun questions to answer, and that's one of the best things about training camp. And then from there you go, wow, this guy can do X really, really well. I can't wait to watch that one go during a game, or whatever. Or, you know what, gosh dang it, I really, really love this scheme, but this just isn't who we are. Let's find a different way to take advantage of that piece of the defense.
How much does that vary too, depending on, especially with the left tackle opening right now while Tyler Guyton's out, different guys are putting in there and trying to figure out, hey, maybe this guy does this well with that guy, but maybe this guy does that thing well with that guy. How much does that vary?
I think that there certainly is some variation, but I think that you also have to have the ability to keep in mind of what you think you're going to have week 1 or what you think you're going to have week 2, and try to continue to lean into that.
Sam.
Coach Sam Gannon, Fox 4 in Dallas. When you have CD style of play and then Pickens style of play, what about that combination together excites you most? CD was saying that there's things Pickens can do that we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of those things just as we continue to go. The bottom line is that when you have one of those guys on either side of the formation and a running game in the middle, it's tough to defend. And so that's what we're trying to develop right now. In regards to what you like to do with each of those receivers, I mean, that's when you're designing pass game, that's what you're trying to do is I'm going to put this guy on this route because he wins that way, or vice versa if somebody's not as good at doing something. So, really the long and short answer of it is it's just really the presence of having a threat on either side and the ability to, the way I would describe it, kind of bash the middle of the defense in. It gives you an advantage when you can do that, and that's what we're trying to develop.
Only question we have about the Cowboys offense is the tackles. That's it. And Tyler Guyton was looking really, really good. Terrence Steele looked a lot better than what he had, but right now we got some guys that are kind of down. So, but nevertheless, I think the offense is probably the least of the problems with the Cowboys. But I do think they don't need to be even messing around with this nonsense. Man, go ahead and move Tyler Smith over to left tackle. It don't even make sense to be talking crazy. Go ahead and move this man to left tackle temporarily, because I'm telling us Cowboy fans, these first 4 games for the Cowboys, they are going to be crucial. You want to win early. You win early, man. You win early. It affords you a whole lot of things you can do late. You win early, and then you get late in the season. You ain't worried about, am I getting in the playoffs? You playing for seeds. You playing for seeds, man. And the Cowboys, they can really get a leg up, I think, especially on the NFC East. If they can get up 4-0, boy, they can really, really, really get a leg up on this NFC East. Here's a couple of comments in there that had me laughing. I was kind of looking at here. Let me see. Mike McCain says he think Nat Thomas will be all right for a couple of games. If Tyler Guyton was out longer, then I would agree with Ty Smith out there. And maybe that's kind of what they're looking at of maybe how long he will be out during the regular season. But me, I ain't taking no chances. I ain't taking no chances. If I'm the Cowboys, I want to win these first 4 games so bad because they really, really set your season up to where you can do some things. Irvin Green said Guyton gets in that hyperbaric chamber every day for a month. He'll be back no later than the second week of the season. And so, for me, for the Cowboys, I just don't want to take no chance. I don't want to take no chance on losing some games. Bama Boy's in the crib. Bama Boy, that's what I'm trying to find. Bama Boy said something down here that I think is interesting. Let's see. And basically what he was saying is that not for Jerry to wait too long before we do something. And I'm kind of in that same boat. But I do think with the Cowboys, I think next week will be the moment of truth. They're going to see what they look like against the Rams. And then I think the Cowboys will start making some moves. When they see what they look like against the Rams, I think they're going to start making some moves for sure. Yeah, Damon Bama Boy said, Gee, we can say we need defensive tackle and some more defensive backs. Jerry has given us the new shiny toy, George Pickens. We all know we do nothing till it's too dang gone late. Make it make sense. So I think the Cowboys, again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've been doing so well. This dude, Christian Matthew, I'm not even going to consider that a major move. But I do think they're going to wait until after the Rams game, and then they're going to make some moves. Tay Lib, he said, how you being blocked? You're a moderator. How you get blocked and be a moderator? Look, he said, everything got to be right or wrong. Conversation with Daniel. He said, just shoot the breeze, man. You cry too much. Oh, y'all all good. We all good. It's all right to have an opinion. Skeptical. Okay, I'm catching what you're saying, Daniel. You're saying they're blocking you from them, not blocking you over here. Skeptical fan got me rolling up in here. Skeptical fan, I saw something Skeptical fan posted up there. Skeptical fan said that they were asking softball questions. Skeptical fan said, I would like to ask them what they saw in Mozzie when they picked him up in the first place. That's why I'm pushing back a little bit, Skeptical fan. Now, Matt Eberflus wasn't here at the time, but Dan Quinn likes the same type of players, it seems, that Matt Eberflus likes. And so it makes me wonder, whose decision was it to bring in Mozzie? Poobie D, we're going to be a whole lot better running the ball. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Not just because of Clayton Adams. He's going to help. But Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, and Ty Smith, man, you're going to definitely be able to run between the tackles. Outside, I don't know yet. But between the tackles, which is what we were trying to do last year and we couldn't do it. I think we'll be able to do it this year. Ron Hanna, yeah, you know what? Ain't nothing we can do about it. We moved the headlines for them. They're going to always talk bad about the Cowboys. I think even when we win a Super Bowl, there'll be some people that'll jump on the bandwagon, but the main personalities, they're going to always move the goalposts. Skeptical fan said, who's going to stop Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown? This is one of the main reasons why I want to bring in Stephon Gilmore. Even though I do think DeRon Bland will be able to stop one of them, and we're going to see what Kyrie Elam looks like, because I'm very interested to see what does Kyrie Elam look like when the season starts. Because I'm just telling us, training camp, Kyrie Elam has been the best cornerback. And I say the best cornerback, but maybe because DeRon Bland has been so good, I haven't heard him or Cooper Beebe's name. So that makes me think they must be doing so good that I guess there's nothing to say. Maybe the quarterbacks aren't even going after DeRon Bland because they know what it is. But nevertheless, they've been going at these other ones and they've been playing pretty good. Yeah, Kalen Carson. They like Kalen Carson, but we're going to see what he is when he come back. Yeah, that's kind of where I am right there, is that Ty Smith, BB, and Booker, man. Them dudes are serious. David Beverboy said, bring Tyron Smith back for a few games, man. Ain't no way. Skeptical fan, he said he praying for a one tech. I'm with you. That's what we've been talking about throughout both of these interviews, is we've been talking about that doggone one tech. They got to get us one. And that's why I'm like, hey, man, just bring over Ty Smith if you have to. I just don't want to I don't even want to go 2-2. I want 3-1 or 4-0.
Coach Sidney Staples, D210 Sports. Coach Eberflus said that you are the best in the business. How does that make you feel?
He didn't mean that. No, I mean, listen, I kind of cut my teeth in the NFL being around Matt Eberflus in Indianapolis. And so having worked with him from the point where I was an assistant offensive line coach to the tight end coach, and then coaching against him both years that I was in Arizona and he was in Chicago, being able to come back and work with him here was unbelievable for me personally, because I have so much respect for the guy and the way that he coaches. And there's a lot that I've learned about the way that I want offenses to play and the way that I want offensive lines to play based on what I used to watch at practice when we were in Indianapolis. And I just remember thinking, if I'm ever an offensive coordinator in this league one day, I want our offense to play like that. And so he's been a big inspiration for me in a ton of different ways, and I've got a ton of respect for him. I'm very glad to be on the same team.
What are some of those non-negotiables for your offense that you did work?
I always thought that before you ever pull the pen out and start drawing on the board, that everybody has to be running all the time and playing the game like they're 6 years old. And so that was always, I remember one of our first practices that I was in Indianapolis, I think we turned the ball over like 4 times, and I was like, gosh, we're not very good. We're not gonna win a lot of games doing that. And one of the other guys on the staff was like, that's just tough, man. Those guys, they rip at it, they punch at it, they're just absolutely relentless with it. So at the end of the day, it's anything else is like, you can't prioritize everything. But the things that you do prioritize, the players in this league will do them, and they'll buy into them if they know that it's realistic for them to achieve. And so those are, to me, the effort piece, the intensity piece, one of the things that is a core foundation of what we want to do on offense is running and hitting at every single position. Probably not at quarterback, but that a lot of that philosophical piece comes from watching defense.
Michael Coleman, KLTV East Texas. How well has Joe Milton fit into your system, considering where he was a year ago at this time?
I don't know where he was a year ago at this time.
We have to be. Jesse Holley was talking about this, and I don't agree with Jesse Holley on everything. We the only team I noticed that talks about the backup quarterback. Man, nobody cares a hill of beans what the backup quarterback is doing. Unless, one, you think he's in competition with your starting quarterback. Or two, you don't think your starting quarterback is going to be playing the whole season. And so you're wondering about you're wondering about the backup quarterback. Man, I don't want to hear nothing about the backup quarterback. Nothing. He playing fine, let him play fine. I don't want to hear nothing about him. Dak Prescott has absolutely been balling this training camp. And truth be told, I've already seen a couple of people talking about Joe Milton, people who have been watching him up close and personal. He ain't ready. Joe Milton is far from ready. He's above where Trey Lance was. But we already know that ain't saying much now. He's above where Trey Lance was. But in the grand scheme of things, he is Trey Lance. Because if Joe Milton winds up playing for the Cowboys, we already know it's going to be his athleticism he's going to be leaning on. He'll be pulling down a lot of balls running. They already said he holds the ball way too long. Y'all got to realize in these OTAs now, you can't hit the quarterback. Joe Milton would have been sacked on many of these things. Joe Milton holds the ball too long. Still got to work on, again, he's still living up to his draft profile. He flashes, but he can't string together consistency. No hate on Joe Milton. Joe Milton ain't ready. Leave Joe Milton alone. And that's where I am. Leave Joe Milton alone. How you going to ask this man where was Joe Milton last year? How the heck he know? This man was with New England last year. Leave Joe Milton alone. Let him develop. That's all we need to do. Let him develop. We're going to see him in preseason. Let's not get our expectations too high. Let's not get them too low. We know he's going to throw some beautiful passes in the preseason, and he's probably going to throw some bad ones in the preseason. And his athleticism, he'll probably pull a few of them down and run. But the thing I want to see what happens when the preseason games start, because I'm going to call the Cowboys out for this. They keep talking about that Joe Milton is pushing Dak Prescott, which I don't believe. especially because I've been watching these practices myself. Why are they not letting Will Grier push Joe Milton? I'm telling y'all, Will Grier can play. Why are they not letting Will Grier? And I don't want to see what we saw last year. I don't want preseason to be the Joe Milton show. Last year, it was the Trey Lance show. I don't want to see that no more. If you're truly trying to create competition, Joe Milton is not competition for Dak Prescott. But Will Grier is competition for Joe Milton. The Cowboys, while they're talking about competition, seem to be handing the number 2 quarterback job to Joe Milton. Don't hand the job to Joe Milton. Let him battle Will Grier for the number 2 spot. Let him battle Will Grier. Let Will Grier get some reps during the preseason. And don't just relegate him to 5 or 6 reps or 1 quarter in the 4th quarter where you got the ball boy playing left tackle. No. I want to see what Will Grier is too, because in the grand scheme of things, I want the best backup quarterback to win. Don't just hand Joe Milton the job, because that stuff right there will just mess Joe Milton up too. Let Joe Milton develop. And don't even make him thinking he's competing with Dak Prescott, because he's not. Let him understand, bro, you're actually competing with Will Grier. And we're not going to give you the job because you're bigger and faster. You're going to earn this job, and you're going to beat Will Grier out because you play quarterback better. Just telling us. I just knew a Joe Milton question was going to come up. Leave this guy alone. Let him develop.
But I can tell you that everybody in the building has been really pleased with Joe and the effort that he's putting forward, and the humility that he's shown to say, like, I'm going to learn from Dak Prescott, and, you know, Dak having a really open and willingness to help Joe, and Will Grier as well. I mean, that room is really 3 dudes that really care about each other and are constantly looking to help each other out. And so I think Joe likes that. I think Joe appreciates that. And we certainly enjoy having him around here. He's a very talented guy and a good person.
Bill.
Thank you, Clayton Adams. Don't throw any gasoline on the fire. Just keep it simple. People, I'm telling you, man, some of these people, they can say what they want to say, but they're looking for the headlines. They're looking for something they can take back and say, ooh, look at what they said about this and this and this. Stop it. Let me catch up on these super chats real quick, and then we're going to finish up Clayton Adams. Skeptical fan, appreciate that super chat. Yes, sir. He back in the building. Let's go. Randy McIntyre, appreciate that super chat. Yeah, the coaching staff is underrated. Yeah, it's the best. It is literally the best thing they did this past season. It is. It's the best thing they did. There's no doubt about it. Star, go to your next. He said, if we win a Super Bowl, talking heads going to say Dak wasn't the reason. Look at his receivers, and they didn't do anything to win. The other team lost themselves. Oh, yeah. Now, Star, go to your next. That could be the case. But you never know. Man, Dak Prescott mess around, hit that Super Bowl. Dak Prescott throw 5, 6 touchdowns, or throw even 4. Dak Prescott throw 4 or 5 touchdowns. Shoo. Man, Dak could be the MVP. They'll be able to say what they can say what they want to say, but the majority won't agree with him. I tell you that much. I tell you that. And I'm telling you, I believe Dak's going to get one. I think this is the right combination of coach, quarterback. The offense looks good. I think they're going to continue to build the defense. And I think by next year, I think Matt Eberflus may have a top 5 defense on his hand. Top 5 defense. Superstar status. Don't say it. He said Bland can't cover Smith or Brown. Well, we're going to see because he's going to have to. But I'm really excited about Kyrie Elam. I'm ready to see Kyrie Elam against some, and he's been going against already our wide receivers. And I'm telling you, I think we have the top wide receiver duo in the league. Shoot, Kyrie Elam and Bland, they're going to be off the chain, bro. I do. Alfredo said, I'm not totally against bringing in a superstar defensive nose tackle, but by the same token, I don't see nothing wrong with trying to find a diamond in the rough, defensive tackle at a low cost, and not mortgaging the team. No, they're not going to mortgage the team because I got a feeling that all roads, ice cold cowboy in the building. I think all roads are pointing towards George Pickens and the Cowboys. For as much as people excoriate the Cowboys for not signing Michael Parsons, so also Diggy Zua got done early. Jake Ferguson now got done early. And I understand people are saying, well, we want the superstar player to get done. But understand, Michael Parsons is under contract. I don't know exactly what that means. I think the Cowboys are going to pay Michael Parsons. And while Michael Parsons might hold out during training camp, I'm going to find it hard to believe that Michael Parsons is going to hold out during the regular season. I'm going to find that hard to believe. The training camp money, it's easy to get back. CeeDee Lamb didn't attend training camp. The Cowboys waived all those fees. But when you get into the regular season, they don't start blocking that. Lost in translation, what's going on? They don't block stuff like that. So I'm kind of wondering. And I just don't think the Cowboys are going to try to make Michael Parsons play on a fifth-year option. I don't think they're going to do it. I just think they're going to do similar to what they did with Dak. They're just going to wait until the last minute, and I think they're going to get other deals done in the process. I don't think those other deals have anything to do with Michael's deal. And as dumb as this may sound, I believe the Cowboys want Michael Parsons to be the highest paid edge rusher in the league, and I think the Cowboys are still waiting to see what the Bengals do with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is the last leaf to fall or the last domino to be pushed over. He's the last one you got to worry about as far as I can tell as far as pay goes. When he gets paid, Michael Parsons will get paid there shortly thereafter. That's where I am. And that's weird, but that's who the Cowboys are. That's what it is. So he'll get paid. Don't worry about it. But I do think they're going to make a couple of more deals. I will not be surprised if Ty Smith is next or either Deron Bland or both of them during training camp. And then you see Michael Parsons getting done a little bit further down training camp. But I'm just glad that he's out there. I'm just glad that Michael Parsons is out there looking at the schemes, not getting behind, and he'll be ready to go. All right, let's finish up. Let's finish up Clayton Adams.
Bill Jones, CBS Texas. How would you describe the chemistry on this coaching staff and the energy that we see out on the field? Where does
Good question.
I think at the end of the day, it's like we want the players to play like they're 9 years old a little bit in terms of like it's supposed to be fun, right? And I've always felt like coaching is supposed to be that way as well. And Brian Schottenheimer gives us the ability to do that, just in terms of like it doesn't need to be a coat and tie dinner out there, right? We're practicing football, so running around and having a good time and screaming and yelling and like that. To me, that's a little bit, not a little bit. I mean, it's a huge part of the thing. So we need to be on top of what the guys are supposed to be doing, obviously, and we're professionals. So to me, that's a non-negotiable and probably the easier part. But if we're just standing around and we look bored, and what are those guys supposed to think? You know, I mean, we got a long road ahead of us here to February or whatever it ends up being. So we're going to be together out there a lot. It might as well be fun.
What's the fine when a player's phone goes off for meetings?
I don't know. I didn't hear it. Somebody started coughing. Like, I got you. We're good.
Scribe is how 4 million people turn.
Rico Jones in the building. What up?
He jumped in at right tackle when Steele was out. Can you talk about him, what you see from him? And he's an option to move it up tackle. He's only kind of worked at right tackle so far.
Yeah, Akeem's done a nice job so far. And one of the things that you always hope when you put a piece in with a group, like, whatever, you got your 5 guys that have been working together, mostly when you add another piece to that group, one of the things early on that you hope is, like, I hope we're really not noticing him very much. And that was kind of the trend early on, was it's been relatively quiet over there. He's doing a nice job. In regards to position flex, we tell all of our guys that unless you are an all-pro at left guard or right tackle or whatever, you need to be able to play as many spots as you can possibly play. And so if you're going to be the third tackle, we ain't going to carry a backup left tackle and a backup right tackle more than likely. So you need to be able to play both spots. And obviously, if you can play multiple positions, that's important as well.
Jaden Blue, obviously, rookie draft pick. A lot of talk about him and his work ethic coming since he joined the Cowboys. Can you just talk about his growth, what you've seen from him so far in camp?
Yeah, Jaden's been awesome. He's fun to be around. He's got a bubbly personality, loves football, extremely competitive. And, when the ball's in his hands, exciting things happen. So, again, like, it feels like we got here 10 seconds ago, but we're a week into camp, and I can't wait till tomorrow to see what some of these guys are going to do, because he's, in my opinion, blossoming.
When it comes to using pre-snap motion, this offense was 29th in the NFL last year. The Cardinals were 27th. From a philosophical standpoint, A, do you believe in pre-snap motion and being able to create an advantage? And then B, as well, we've seen a lot more of it on the field out here. How do you think the challenges have come about in implementing that system?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for everything. And when you have the ability to do something that gives you an advantage, you're going to do it more. One of the great things about doing that when you're practicing is it sometimes can create a little bit of chaos for IDs and some of the interior pieces, the offensive line, the tight ends, sometimes even the quarterback. And if it gives us information, then
what up, Derek G?
Obviously it's 100% worth it. The advantage of creating a little bit of chaos for those guys is we need to manufacture some adversity and make their jobs hard. These guys are really smart, and so if we just line up and give them the premier look all the time, they're not going to be able to respond when gray area hits in the game. And so sometimes it's that, sometimes it's taking advantage of things, sometimes it's just practicing something a little bit different.
Alrighty, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you guys.
How's it going? Very good.
Okay, it looks like Nick Sorensen, he's the special teams coach. Let's check out his interview real quick.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Coach, have you ever had such a dynamic special teams group with the kicker considered one of the best in the business, and obviously you got Turpin as a returner?
I forgot. Dallas, sign Brandon Aubrey now.
I think altogether, probably this would be the best. I think when you put everybody together with just all the guys, I would say yes. This is the most dynamic.
The biggest difference for you in this space now in comparison to the other positions you've had across the league in terms of responsibilities and those kinds of things?
You mean me? Yeah. Me, where I'm coaching now? I've done it before. It's definitely different, but it's still football. I try and keep it simple as far as how I coach the guys and how I think and how I prepare, and just focus on, what job they have to do, the job I have to do, and get them to play to the best of their ability. I think over the coaching career, I've coached both, probably half and half of defense and special teams. So I just love football, and I think I just try and keep it simple like that and focus on the guys competing every day.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys.
What up, the Gunner? Appreciate you.
Big rivalry here. Did you bring any secrets to share with the guys about the 49ers?
If we get a chance to play them, then yes. I will do all I can to win that game, and every game.
How do you get Aubrey prepared? He's been so good, so consistent. Obviously, the win is something different. He'll say AT&T Stadium, but how do you get him going?
I think with him, it's just, with most kickers and punters and snapper, it's the consistency and their process of them getting ready for the season. And I think this is just another step in it. And I think they know about the wind. They've been here a long time, or they've been here a few times, and understanding that the wind is a good challenge for them out here. And I think they were talking about there was a line of trees here in the past that got taken down, so that's added even more. You know, he's talking about how it used to, you know, it would go straight for a little bit longer for about 20 yards, and then now when the wind comes, it's just cool challenges that they get to go through that you don't necessarily get when you're at home, you know, in practice, or if we're indoors kicking like they do a lot of the times back in Frisco. So it's just it's a good little challenge every day.
How much do you want them kicking out here? I mean, is it you kick too much? You know, do you have a?
Yeah, we have a plan. We have a specific plan. We talked about it a little bit in the offseason, then we prepped going into this of how often that they kick. You want to keep it as consistent, you know, with how they do it in the season. You try and match it up based on days. We don't do field goal and field goal block every day based on the length of the practices, because there are rules for that. So when it matches up, we set the plan, and then you'll see sometimes there's periods that we're doing field goal block, and he doesn't kick, so it wasn't in the plan that day. So we were specific in the preparation. Try and get, you know, about 2-3 a week.
Todd Archer with ESPN. What can does Turpin open up different things for you in the return game, especially with the new kickoff rule that you weren't a special teams guy before, now that it's only in its second year?
That Turp does?
What can Turpin do to open things up for you and what you want to do?
I think with him, it's just he's so fast and explosive. I think he helps really in any time he touches the ball. You know, regardless of what the rules are, it's just a matter of you just close that space, and now we get on our blocks relatively a lot quicker. So for him, it doesn't change a whole lot. He's going to catch it. The cool thing with him is just getting on guys and being consistent with that so that he can see a space, or he can see and run off of his teammates' backs.
Did you see his touchdown against Washington?
Yes.
When you were in San Francisco, or in reviewing this?
In reviewing and coming in. I probably did at some point and maybe forgot, but I mean, seeing it again, that was just, you know, that's just special. That's just different. That's not something you're like, oh, great scheme. I mean, he did the freaking big spin. And
what up, Newhouse fam?
Yeah, that was an incredible return.
John Machado with The Athletic. You've been around Brian Schottenheimer before, but now in just this time here with him as the head coach, what has kind of stood out to you about working with him in that aspect?
I've always felt like this was his role, you know, in being around him, and you see certain guys and the way that they carry themselves and the way that they coach, and I saw it in him, you know, whether I was in Seattle or whether I was in Jacksonville with him, I knew that this was the next step, and I felt like he's been ready for this for a long time, and now he's gotten this opportunity. He's been outstanding. I think it's been really, really good.
Ron Hanna, I agree with you. The coaching staff, I said it before, I believe the coaching staff is the biggest improvement this team has made, bar none. Bar none. Down to this guy. Everybody was talking about Bone Fossil when he came in here, whatever his name is. His ego was way too big. Bone Fossil's ego was way, way, way too big. And he just thought he knew it. I'm sorry, just way too big. Way, 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 way too big. This guy here seems to be a lot more humble, and he's going to be with the plan.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. With Turpin, obviously he's getting a lot more offensive responsibilities as well. As his special teams coach, but also someone that wants to see him succeed at the same time, how much do you find yourself rooting for him on offense, but also making sure he's fresh when he comes
Anytime he touches the ball, I'm rooting for him. I mean, regardless of what I'm coaching, I want to win the game. So whatever they need to use him for us to be successful, I'm cool with it. You know, obviously he'll be returning our kicks and our punts too, so he'll be fine. He can handle it. The coaches know what he can do, you know.
He was talking last week about how y'all probably already had a conversation about how deep he is to bring it out. Have y'all had that conversation on kickoffs?
Not quite. That'll be situational, I think. And there is a difference of the touchback and where the ball starts too this year, so that factors in as well.
Hey Nick, Patrick Walker, Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Patrick.
Obviously, as a special teams coach, there are a lot of guys trying to make the roster who look at special teams as a way of doing that. But then you have guys like Shamar James who actually thoroughly enjoy playing special teams. So as that coordinator, how good does it feel to have guys like that on your roster?
It's awesome. I mean, that's what you need. You need that, especially from the young guys that maybe didn't do it very much, or if they did it like 3 or 4 years ago. And even then, punt return, kickoff.
Mr. J, you thought our special teams was elite under Bone Fossil? I thought our special team was elite in spite of him. Brandon Arby's your kicker. It ain't always about X's and O's. When you got elite players, They make simple plays look good. Brandon Aubrey, dude, just can kick. Kevontae Turpin. Anybody watch him in the USFL and anybody watch him when he was playing college ball? Man, Turpin been him. Turpin been him. I think he benefited from having a couple of elite players on his special teams. But he made some bone-headed decisions. Boneheaded. We saw him on full display. What did he do? The fake punt, 2 fake punts, back to back, 2 weeks in a row. Both of them were catastrophic. What was the other dumb play he made during the Cincinnati Bengals thing where we had the player that touched the ball? I mean, bone fossil, man. I'm just telling you, this dude. I just thought he had too much of a big head. I mean, he came in here like, man, I come from a Super Bowl team and I'm this and I'm that, and people were acting like he was going to be the difference in us winning football games. He actually became the reason why we lost.
Return, they're all different. So it's completely new for them when they come to the league. It's, their punt, the rules are different. The way they did kickoff was different. And those guys hadn't done it in a long time. And it's a chance for them to make our team. And you're not dressing 70 or whatever guys they do in college. So it's like, hey, this is really tight. And once they understand that, hey, this is your way to get on the field, help us win, teach them the rules, teach them how we do things, and teach them the techniques. And then at the end of the day, you try and make it make sense to them positionally for what they do. Hey, it's just like you doing this on defense or you doing this as receiver, and then they got to go do it.
Lisa Worley, don't worry. You already got Kevontae Turpin at the running back position. His name is Jaden Blue. He runs a 4.28 40, and he plays fast too. He don't just run a 4.28 40. He plays like he runs a 4.28 40. He's got a different gear. He's got a different gear. He's bigger. He's bigger than Kevontae Turpin, and I would dare say, I think he could catch a little bit better than Kevontae Turpin. Even though Kevontae snagged one out of the air, that one-handed catch by Jaden Blue and the adjustment of his body, Jaden Blue works out as a wide receiver. So we already got Turpin at running back. His name is Jaden Blue. And when we put Jaden Blue and Kevontae Turpin on that field at the same time, woof. You talking about speed.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News, kind of building off that question. Special teams can often be a decider when it comes to cut down day. How much are you kind of evaluating and chronicling, everyone's special teams impact when it comes to some of those fringe players as we go throughout training?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. I mean, we've done some competitive drills where we keep score and, that there's a winner and a loser, and obviously the games are going to matter. The joint practice is going to matter. It's just something that we keep doing to keep it as competitive as possible. And, there's some competitive groups where I think it will be a deciding factor.
Had a game, in terms of keeping scores, and they gave an award out at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, I think, alluded to it there a little bit in terms of keeping score. How important is to kind of have those aspects on special teams for you guys?
Yeah, we have, a monster rep of the day each day. Whoever had the best rep, we're trying to build this monster here. So that's how we're doing that is based on practice. It's drill work or it's a competitive drill. We keep score of all that stuff.
Has there been any repeat monsters yet?
Yeah, CJ. Yeah, he had a couple.
Hey, Coach, Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. As you've gotten to learn Brandon Aubrey and who he is as not only a player but a person, is there anything you can tell us that maybe we don't know about him?
Y'all know this man old school. This man got on a calculator watch. Now, the young folk don't even understand, man. Boy, when I was in school, boy, man, if you had a calculator watch, you were him or her. I mean, you was super popular if you had a calculator. This man, if I'm not mistaken, got on a calculator watch. Man, where the world did he find a calculator watch in this day of smartphones? What would you even need a calculator watch for? This man, y'all checking this out. This man got on a calculator watch. Big ups to this man. Big ups to this man.
It's just been really cool. I don't know what you guys know, but he's just really steady and he's very, very, very competitive. I think all those guys in the specialist group are great athletes and very competitive in pretty much everything, whether it's ping pong, you know, whatever, chess, any other little things that we do on the field. These guys are extremely, extremely as competitive as anyone on the team.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. You kind of mentioned how important consistency is for Brandon. How beneficial is it to have Trent and Brian back with him for his process, and how much easier to having all three of them back again make your job?
That huge, and it was something that I think everyone in the building felt like that was what we wanted to do. That's why we tried to get that done as soon as possible to keep that group together, because these guys are very connected. They're excellent at what they do, if not the best at their position in the league, all of them, and they really get along and they really work well together, and they're all very, very smart. They understand situational football, and they've been successful. So that was huge to hear it coming from Shotty when I first got here, and then understand that we wanted to keep those guys together. And yeah, that makes my job a lot easier.
How free reign will you have in terms of you need to fake a punt?
Y'all heard this question about Calvin Watkins? See, he going back to this bone fossil stuff I was talking about, Mr. J. Because I'm telling you, y'all remember last year, man, Bone Fossil was making these moves, and Bone Fossil was making these moves, and he was basically making these play calls on his own, and then Mike McCarthy would come back and back him up on it. So now Calvin Watkins is asking him, what kind of leeway will you have with them fake punts that we messed up last year?
Have in terms of you need to fake a punt. Was that something you need to talk to Shotty about, or do you just say we're going to do this?
In my history, you always talk to the head coach about that. I think any major decisions that are going to change the game.
Hold on a second. Direct shot at Bone Fossil. Direct shot. Because this dude, I'm telling us, this dude cost us 3 games last year. He's a special teams coach. That Atlanta Falcon debacle was insane. How do you come out in the opening of the it's the third quarter. If I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys were only down by 3. You're on your own end of the field. You're on what, the 39? You do a fake punt? Boy, you've been fired. I'd have fired your butt. And he had did it the week before. I can't remember the team we played the week before. He had did the fake punt. Didn't go well. The Cincinnati Bengal game. I mean, you just got to communicate to people the situations. Did you notice what he said? The players understand situational football. Yeah, because you got to tell them the situation. Bone Fossil was tripping last year. This dude said, if you're going to make a decision on a play that's going to change the game, talk to the head coach.
You have to talk to the head coach about. So that's something I'll be in, anytime I see something on tape, even if it's rushing or you have some type of return you want to do, but obviously fakes, those are things you bring it up early in the week to talk with Shotty about it. And what's it?
Good work, moderators on B Fatty. Yeah, he in there trying to trip on Mark Holmes. Mark Holmes is goated. You can't talk bad about Mark Holmes. Mark Holmes is one of the goats of this thing, man.
Situations that you'd want to do that in.
How important is it to have some vets that play special teams for a good while?
It's huge because those are the guys that bring along the guys when you're not around. That I remember early in my career, I tell those guys all the time, I learned as much in the locker room or in the sauna, my rookie year and my second year playing from the guys in there. They tell you little intricate things you can do. Like I said, a lot of those rookies, we're teaching techniques and stuff, but they're that gets backed up by those leaders in the locker room with Wanye and with CJ.
Will
House
that
fail,
5
so who
yards
calls
make that
himself
big of a
fatty?
difference? And if so, why?
I think we'll find out. I think it will, because I think last year when this first happened, it was the 35. And then like 2 weeks later, it changed to the 30. And I think that changed to where people are like, hey, the average drive start last year was just under 30. It was like 29 and change across the whole league, drive start for kickoff return. And so everyone's saying, risk reward, depending on the situation of the game, maybe if you're up a little bit, you may not try and pin them as much, give them the touchback. But I think it will. I think you'll see more returns than last year. What that number will be, I'm not exactly sure, but I think the uptick will be there because 5 yards is a lot, 7 yards, 8 yards. Every 10 yards, the percentage of scoring has gone up. I mean, just for years it's been like that. So every first down matters, and that's 5 yards.
Yeah, is there an
Yeah.
deal that every drive that starts at the 35, X percent?
Oh, all that stuff. Yeah, it just goes up as you would expect. It's crazy. Every little 5-10 yards that you go, the scoring goes up. And this is over a number of years.
All righty. That's it.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
I wasn't truly.
All right, let's do a little bit of talking. I see a little bit of a conversation about Michael Parsons. I think it was a good question. Somebody was asking, like, are we kind of cool where the Michael Parsons thing is? And I'm kind of like with the Michael Parsons thing. I'm not really tripping about where the Michael Parsons thing is. I'm not classifying the Michael Parsons ordeal as being the same as the Dak Prescott and the CeeDee Lamb deal for this reason. They were not calling this man their uncle, my guy, going to games or whatever they were doing, chopping it up and talking about contract stuff without their agent. And I think this is a part of what has this Michael Parsons situation where it is. And I think what we're watching is that Jerry and Steven are pretty much ticked off because they were like, hold on a second. I thought we had a deal. Only for you to go get your agent, and rather than you telling your agent, this is the deal I want, you let your agent roll up in here and start changing this deal all around. Because I think there is some hyperbole and some lying going on. I find it hard to believe when Michael says they got to pick up. How did he say it? He said, we've reached out to them, but they haven't talked back. I'm not believing that entirely. I think there is some, I think there's some semantics going on there. Because when I hear Stephen Jones says he got to want to be signed, what do you mean he got to want to be signed? I think there is some communication there. There's something going on that the whole truth ain't being told. And Steven and Jerry are telling you they're a different kind of, they're a special kind of ticked off at this deal with Michael Parsons. I'm telling y'all, this ain't that. The Dak Prescott thing, the CeeDee Lamb, this is not that. It's not that. Now, Jerry and Steven are a different kind of ticked off. They are. They're a different kind of ticked off. It don't mean that he's not going to get his deal, because I think they're going to give him a deal, but I think they're going to make him sweat it out. I think they're going to make him sweat it out. And if I'm him, don't sweat it. You're going to get paid, whether it be here or somewhere else. But I do think at the same time, a player in particular like Michael Parsons also understands. And y'all don't get this twisted. He understands. He needs to be in Dallas. If Michael Parsons goes to another team, the only thing they'll talk about is his play. That's it. It's the only thing they'll talk about. And if he's not playing well, they'll say a few things. It won't even be front news. It won't even be headline news. That podcast with the Bleacher Report won't be nothing. Michael Parsons has actually put himself in a position to where he needs to be a Dallas Cowboy. He really does. Because it seems to be, to me, that Michael Parsons, and this is why I say somebody needs to check his DNA, because I think him and Jerry are so much alike. Michael Parsons, because of what he is off the field, he needs to be a Dallas Cowboy because he benefits from it. And I'm sure, I mean, hey, I don't know if the Joneses are having these type of conversations, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. I'm telling us. This thing with Michael Parsons, man, it's a different animal. I don't look at this like some of the other ones. This is a different animal to me. It's a whole different animal. I'm not worried, though. He's going to get paid. He'll be with the Cowboys. He's going to get paid. He'll be paid by the first game. It'll be before the game or at halftime, but he'll be paid. And if the Cowboys go beyond, game one, ooh, I don't think it's going to happen. But boy, if it does, and the Cowboys still winning, I heard old crazy Skip Bayless talking today, and he was talking about he was actually mad at Michael Parsons. He said because Michael Parsons lost a lot of leverage by coming to training camp. And I don't know if it's about leverage as much, because at the end of the day, I mean, you want to be a Dallas Cowboy, so you that's why you're showing up. And like you're saying, you're showing up for your teammates and all of that. But, when you do show up, it puts a lot more different type of ramifications on that. If you hold out, you don't get any of that money back. This is going to be, to me, it's not interesting yet. It's no big deal that he's not playing, because at the same time, Michael is what he is. As long as he knows where he's lining up, as long as he knows he's going to be able to play with the team, I think he'll come right in and the chemistry will be good. Because you definitely wouldn't want to risk signing him to a big deal, or you sign him to a big deal and then he gets injured during the training camp, which everyone takes that risk. But when you're talking about paying a man this kind of money, probably don't want him playing anyway. I mean, you really don't. You probably don't want him playing. So I'm not worried. Michael's going to get paid. The only way this gets interesting to me is that if they don't pay him by the first game. If they don't pay him by the first game and they mess around and win, and he holds out, shoot, boy, we ain't there yet, so I ain't worried. So, yeah, I'm cool with the situation that Michael's in. I'm cool with it because I think he's going to get paid, so I'm not worried about it. All right, and then let's look at real quick before we get off of here. I mean, this Christian Matthew thing really got me tripping. I don't understand the Christian Matthew thing. Y'all help me out. I mean, I guess you just want somebody in camp. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Speaking on Christian Matthew, I mean, I don't even know if you can say that he's good or bad at this point. I mean, he just hasn't been successful. That's the only way I can tell you. He's an older player. I mean, hold on a second. He's an older player. I think he's 28 years old. And he has hardly no playing experience for as long as he's been in the league. In heavy.com, it's amazing to me how they're describing him. Cowboys land 6'2" vet with rare blend of size and explosive athletic testing. Stop the cap. This guy has done nothing in the league. He's done nothing at this point. I mean, potential is there, I guess, maybe, but he's done nothing. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing. Says the Dallas Cowboys made a series of roster moves as the team looks to address the mounting injury concerns. After a string of offensive line injuries, Dallas is now dealing with health concerns in the secondary. They were already dealing with health concerns. But Kalen Carson got a hyperextended knee, going to miss 6 weeks. So now it says, okay, Dallas released wide receiver Kelvin Harmon, in order to create room in the veteran corner to sign veteran corner Christian Matthew. It remains to be seen if additional roster moves are on the way. I'm struggling with the way we're talking about this dude. I mean, you're talking veteran like this dude has played like 5, 6, 7 years in the league. I mean, what? 6'2", 195-pound corner, was a 7th round draft pick by the Arizona Cardinals in the 2022 NFL draft. Matthew impressed as his Valdosta State Pro Day, posting a 41.5-inch vertical leap and a 10'7" broad jump. Here's how NFL.com's Lance Zierlein described Matthew heading into the 2022 NFL draft. You know what? All that stuff is cool. But he's only started 3 NFL games in his career. What are we talking about? He's been bouncing around a couple of teams, ultimately just a depth piece fighting for a roster spot. Let's look at a couple of little plays on him here. Let me see, make sure I mute this in case. I mean, this is him. I don't call that a good pass defense. I call that a bad thrown ball. I mean, that's an ill-advised throw. I don't know if I call that a great pass breakup. That's not a great defense. Another drop. This is right in this dude's hand. I don't get it. Nope, not a great pass defense. That's a drop. Let's see what the next one looks like. Okay, it's a good tackle. A good tackle. Let's see. Okay, good tackle there. Nice pursuit. Okay, see him up at the top here. That was a drop. Let me see where his hands are. I mean, I guess he stayed on him, but I don't know. These are not the kind of plays I'm looking at going, yeah, this guy's going to be great. Another ill-advised throw. I'm struggling with this Christian Matthew thing. I don't know. I'm just thinking that maybe there are other things you could have did just to have some depth. But again, I think one of the selling points was he's played for Matt Eberflus. It says Matthew is a height, weight, and speed prospect whose allure will primarily be based on his rare blend of size and explosive athletic testing. Zierlein wrote in his pre-draft profile on Matthew, as a 25-year-old rookie, Matthew has somewhat limited upside. Yeah, he's 25. I mean, he is what he is at this point. But it's difficult to find corner prospects with his measurables and outstanding length. His 15 pass breakups in 2021 could give rise to hope that he's finally finding his footing as a prospect. In addition to the Cardinals, Matthew also played for the Bears prior to joining the Cowboys. Matthew last played in an NFL game in 2023, appearing in 6 games for the Cardinals and the Bears. New Cowboys defense coordinator Eberflus reflected on the recent string of injuries just 1 week in the training camp. But again, I think this is one of the things that he benefited from. So, I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm not really sold on the whole I'm not sold on the Christian Matthews thing. Again, definitely more of a depth piece. But I don't even know what that even means. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I mean, if the Cowboys, I mean, I guess they're putting all their money in, or the chips on the table, and I think Kyrie Elam and Deron Bland is what they're counting on for the most part. I think that's what they're depending upon. So I think that's where we are. I think that's where we are with Christian Williams. Christian Matthew. And I'm telling you, man, you know, again, when you start looking at these headlines, these guys talk, man, Cowboys got this vet. Come on, man. I'm not even rolling with that part of the game. But again, y'all tell me what you think. That's yeah. I don't even think nothing of it. I'm just kind of like just a camp body at this point. And I guess maybe you just want to maybe kick the tires on it. That's all I can see. So it is what it is. I guess you're gonna kick the tires on him. I would rather us be bringing in Stephon Gilmore. That's kind of where I am. Malik Hooker. If I'm not mistaken, he is a disciple or has played with Matt Eberflus. I'm thinking he's the one. Daniel Lim said this practice, Lisa Worley, we need to see him play a preseason game. Well, we actually need to see him all play a preseason game. That's kind of where I am. Because the one who I got my eyes on is none other than Kyer Elam. That's who I'm looking at. Yep, that is exactly who I am looking at. So it is what it is, but I don't think we've done anything at the corner position that would just make us be excited. David Davenport told him, man, you can't talk about Mark Holmes, man. Mark Holmes is the GOAT in this thing, man. You can't be talking about dudes like that. I mean, I guess you can. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but you're gonna suffer the consequences of doing it. I mean, Mark Holmes is GOATed. Lisa Worley said, I love me some Tolbert, but he needs to get some separation. I showed you the tape on him the other day. Man, he has not been getting separation in this training camp whatsoever. And he going to have to do better than that. Let's see here. Hey, y'all leave my man, Daniel M alone. Y'all leave Daniel M alone now. Mr. J said, I believe Jerry is waiting to see. Mr. J, I've been saying this. I believe Jerry's waiting to see where the highest paid mark stops and make Michael $1 million over that. I do too. I think that's exactly what he's doing. Jerry, contrary to what people, all these people, it's funny to me. Jerry's treating Michael wrong. Man, Jerry loves Michael Parsons. I'm convinced Jerry loves Michael Parsons. Jerry is ticked off at Michael Parsons because they had a deal. Other than that, Jerry loves Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons is going to get signed by the Cowboys. Straight up. It's nothing else to say about it. He going to get paid, man. I'm not even sweating it. When he gets paid, he'll get paid. Yep. Bernard, I think it's more of Jerry got real beef. He's perturbed at Micah and got beef with the agent. And that's why Jerry keeps taking all them shots. I be laughing at Jerry talking about, man, I don't even know his agent. Stop it, Jerry. You know his agent. If there is one thing the Cowboys know, they know that athlete's first agency. They know them jokers. Unlucky said Micah talked himself out of the highest paid. Micah sweating nothing. It's the fans. Man, yeah. The fans sweating harder for him than he is. This dude know he gonna get paid, man. He know he gonna get paid. There is no doubt about it. So I ain't sweating it. I ain't worried about this man's pockets. He gonna be with the Cowboys, and he gonna be a contributor on this defense. Poobie D, I appreciate him being there because I don't want this man at Thanksgiving talking about we just now getting these plays. Nah. Good. Don't practice, but be there. Lost in translation, I'm with you. Where's Gilly? But again, understand something about these older players. At least this is what I've heard. They do not like coming to training camp. A lot of these players who can still play, they'll tell you, it's not the season that makes them retire. It's the training camps and stuff. It's the grind of the season. Some of these guys would probably still play if you would give them off the entire offseason or give them off the entire training camp. Man, them jokers would play. They absolutely would. Yep, Alfredo, I'm with you. Micah with all that buddy handshake. Yeah, that's why Jerry is mad at Micah. That's why I say this ain't the same thing. This is not the same thing, I'm telling you. So, yeah, I'm good with the where they are right now. I need the Cowboys to be he getting paid. That's all it is to it. D Block 88 up in this crib. What up with you? Welcome to the congregation. All right, let's see here. We're gonna watch one more. We're gonna watch a couple of player interviews, a couple of short ones, and then we're gonna be up out of here. All right, I got you, Lisa Worley. All right, let's see here. There are a couple of more of these interviews that are dropping on DallasCowboys.com. Let's look at a couple of them here. Okay, let's see. There's a couple of them that I want us to see. All right, so let's listen to DeRon Bland. Let's listen to DeRon Bland, Jonathan Mingo, Oso Digizua, and then we're going to finish tonight off with Miles Sanders. So let's check out DeRon Bland. Because I'm telling you, DeRon Bland has obviously been playing really well because you haven't heard anything from him. So that tells me something. They're obviously not throwing his way. They're obviously not throwing his way because you're hardly hearing anything from DeRon Bland. I think he's going to get signed also during this camp.
For you, like what's your goals that you have for yourself? What's the next step for you? Like what's your goals that you have for yourself?
Now it's kind of trying to find my role, gel into my role of being the leader, one of the guys oldest in the room. So trying to do that.
Do they want you in that to be more vocal?
Yeah, yeah, they do.
And how do you feel about that?
I take it as a challenge. You know, I'm not usually the more vocal guy, but I'm trying to take it on.
What about, were you like that in college at all?
No, not really.
Okay. High school?
No.
Never.
No.
He's not a vocal leader. He's a work leader.
You came into the league mostly at nickel corner. Injury is what kind of pushed you to the boundary, which is where you became Pick Six King. But obviously, with Jordan Lewis leaving the free agency, Cowboys are trying to figure out that nickel spot. How can your versatility help them kind of figure out where guys are going to play?
Yeah, I mean, you could use me inside out, but yeah, my rookie year, that was the first time ever playing nickel in my life. So it was a rough journey, but you know, it was fun. But trying to do now to be able to prove I could do both inside and out.
You saw Jake Ferguson get his deal done. Stephen Jones instead. They're going to talk to multiple guys out here. Would you like to get something done at this point?
Oh, definitely. Dallas is always one of be, so hopefully we can get it done.
Yeah, y'all been talking already. How have those conversations been?
There have been talks, but I'm not here to talk about that. Well, really, my agent talked about it.
Say it for the people in the back, in case Michael Parsons is sitting in the back. DeRon Bland said exactly what you need to say when people start talking about money. Let me let you hear it again.
You have those conversations been?
Hopefully we can get it done.
Yeah, y'all been talking already. How have those conversations been?
There have been talks, but I'm not here to talk about that. Well,
I'm not here to talk about my money. I'm not here to talk about my money. I'm here to talk about my play, not my money. This is how every player should be. When I worked as a manager out there in the world, the one thing we always told everybody, don't talk about your pay. Now, unfortunately, in the NFL, of course, it's going to be posted for everybody to see. But if I was a coach on a team, I would tell my players, your pay gonna be posted because this is the game the game and how it's played. But you don't need to talk to anybody about your pay. You don't talk to anybody about the football business other than your wife. And even her, you make sure she ain't on social media spreading your business. You don't talk about your money in the court of public opinion. and you don't talk to Jerry or nobody behind closed doors about money, you let your agents do all that. You do all your talking on the field. This is the perfect answer.
Really, my agent talked about it. So.
Shut him down.
About Dallas that you like?
I just feel like a bigger home. I always say like it's like to me it's like a bigger California, so I feel like home.
Why do you say that?
Just because like how it is, it's a city part and being outside of the country. Because where I'm from, it's like kind of a lot of farmland and stuff, so it's kind of used to it.
What do you learn from Eberflus' scheme that can help you take the next step in your career?
I can see I can just make plays. Really, just that's what it really is. Just likes to make different looks and stuff, so it'd be good.
You had fun going up against George Pickens, and what have you learned about his game so far?
Oh, he's good. I can't really see what the duo do. So, but yeah, he really got great hands and great routes, and so a really deep threat too. So.
What do you think of Malik today?
Oh, it did his thing today.
Huh?
It did his thing today. So showing out what he could do being leader of our defense.
He's not a guy who's known as a big hitter, but he kind of got a couple guys.
Yeah, he did.
Does he know you're not supposed to take guys to the ground, or it
I mean,
kind of happens?
It just happens sometimes. Bringing that physicality sometimes might happen.
Shoot, man, let me tell you, I think they're talking about yesterday's practice. Man, this dude, Malik Hooker, Malik Hooker.
Like his first two padded practices.
Malik Hooker just flat out tackled a guy yesterday. I mean, just straight up tackled him. So, man, I'm telling you, DaRon Bland, I believe DaRon Bland and Ty Smith are going to get done in training camp. And the Cowboys are smart for doing this. And, when we talk about these players, I want you to look at something that you might not be realizing. When you start talking about these deals also, there is a difference between what we're talking about with Micah Parsons versus what we're talking about with these other players. I want you to notice something. When we look at Oso Digizua, for example, when we look at Oso Digizua and his contract, you want to know why it got done early? Look at where he is on the pay scale. Also, Digizua falls outside of the top 10. He's at what, 14th or 15th highest paid? Even when you look at Jake Ferguson is not one of the highest paid players at his position. Jake Ferguson. People we're not understanding this stuff. They haven't updated this, but Jake Ferguson is number 7 now. Jake Ferguson is number 7. Again, they haven't updated him on here, but when you start talking about the highest paid tight ends, he's number 7. Also, Digizua is not in the top 10 of interior linemen. Jake Ferguson, number 7. I have a strange feeling DaRon Bland, as far as cornerbacks go, if the Cowboys get him now based on the season that he had, when you look at the top paid cornerbacks, if the Cowboys go ahead and sign him now, I do not believe that he's going to be in the Gardner, the Stingley, the Horn, the Ramsey, maybe the Ramsey, the Surtain. He's going to probably fall somewhere. He'll probably fall somewhere close to the Trayvon Diggs deal. I think that's where he'll probably fall. He's going to probably fall somewhere in there. That deal is a lot easier to get done than when you're talking about being the highest paid cornerback. And so one of the issues too with Micah Parsons is when you're talking about being the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And again, I believe the Cowboys are going to do it. They like making history on these types of things. I think they're going to do it. But I do think there's also another snag on this, is that the Cowboys are saying, well, we want the option of being able to have multiple years so that we can push more money down the road and we can do whatever we want to do with your contract as we go on with it. And so I think we got to. I think the years are the snag. I don't think the money is the snag. But as far as these other players go, you watch what I tell you. I got a feeling that Ty Smith and Deron Bland, and maybe even Brandon Aubrey, will get done during training camp. All right, let's check out also Diggy Zoo.
Good intensity in the trenches.
Definitely. I feel like obviously the ramp up is good, but it's always better for like being an O and D lineman once we get pads on, you know, get a real feel, especially because the tempo doesn't change that much. So you just have a little bit more protection.
What's your eval on Tyler Booker?
I think he's good. I think he's going to be able to help us.
What are you saying from Sam Williams in his first 2 padded practices back from injury?
I mean,
Heard he's walking in the D-line room.
Yeah, Sam bringing that energy every day, you know. You could tell he's been itching to get back out here, so I love having him back out there, just having the energy and having him be able to help us too.
How's Solomon coming along with learning Eberflus' system and just the Cowboys playbook a little bit?
Solly's a bit of a veteran when it comes to like the attack front. He was with White Cotton with the Jets, so he's been in a scheme similar to this before. So I feel like he's doing a really good job. You know what I mean? Not too much adjusting because it's doing some things he's been asked to do before. So one, just great having him as someone who's helping us lead and being able to look at him as an example. But, you know, the competition is awesome as well because he's a superior athlete. So it's like having him out here like a high athlete as well, someone that could push me and push the rest of the D tackles, you know, it's awesome.
How do you handle, I know there's rules of how you guys hit because you're in pads, how do you handle that control it to not to go all out? You have to stop yourself not to cross that line.
Say that one more time?
When you're hitting, and shot numbers talked about even once you guys just going crazy on one another, there has to be a control. That's why you guys do the thud. How do you control that urge to go all out?
I mean, you just got to remember the fact that we're all brothers. We're on the same team.
Bam.
It's not the person that I'm trying to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got the same color jersey on. It might be different color, but it's all navy blue and white. You know what I mean? So just, we all got the star on our helmet. So just keeping that in mind and making sure that when we do have the opportunity to go against a different color jersey, that's when we can let it loose.
There it is.
Is the attack front what Quinn did, or is it even different than what DQ wanted for you guys?
It's a little bit different from DQ's.
How would you define it? Without giving away state secrets.
I would say it's definitely a little bit different. I feel like DQ's was a little bit more of a mix of like going straight forward, movement, a little bit of read sometimes. It's a little bit more just different variations of things, wearing many different hats with DQ's defense.
Feels like there's more stunts.
I'm telling y'all, Matt Eberflus's defense is going to be so comfortable for Micah Parsons, also Diggy Zua, the Mozzie Smiths, the Trayvon Diggs when he does get back, Deron Bland. They're going to almost be right at home with this defense because it's, notice, Dan Quinn name comes up. Why didn't they mention Zimmer? Because I'm telling y'all this defense is similar to Dan Quinn's. And I already know what he's saying is, you know, you think about Matt Eberflus, I guess kind of where he changes, as we read the other day. He doesn't really try to do a lot of exotic stuff. He just gives you one assignment, and that's it. So that's probably the little bit of a variation. But this is similar to Dan Quinn's. So I believe some of these guys are going to be right at home on this defense.
A little bit, yeah.
How does it help with the run defense and just the fact that you guys are going up the field and attacking?
Makes it a lot more simple for everyone involved.
See? There it is, simplicity. That's what the Matt Eberflus defense is. That HITS acronym. I can't remember what they all stand for, but that HITS acronym. And that S, you might as well call it simplicity. And so he's just like, hey, get up the field or whatever case may be. And notice, the reporters are starting to ask the right questions. How does this contribute to stopping the run? Now, I do think in this defense, the linebackers are going to help this defense out because Van Der Esch was really the best linebacker that we had, and he messed around and retired on us. Damone Clark, for whatever reason, couldn't get on the field with Mike Zimmer. So the Cowboys were really in purgatory in the linebacker position. But even with Sanborn and Murray, as much as some people don't think they're elite, way better than what we've had. Way better. And I'm telling you, Dan Quinn is somewhere wishing or saying, Jerry never gave me that.
Hey, also, how does it strike you that Micah is here in camp, even though he's not practicing? We know the situation.
I think it's awesome, to be honest. The fact that, one, he doesn't have to be here. A lot of people, there might be people in the same situation will have people in their circle telling him not to be here. You know what I mean? But he's here. He's working out. He's making sure he's staying in shape. He's at practice. He's giving guys positivity, encouraging everybody in the D-line room, in the meeting room, giving people knowledge, helping people, coaching guys up. When we're doing drills, he's helping out that way as well, giving looks, you know, just being helpful and being of service. So that's awesome.
And you can hear him, like, when the defense makes a big play.
Yeah.
His reaction has been pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
And you can tell he's itching to get out on the field, too. So I'm excited for him to be able to join us.
Also, what's impressed you most about Ezra Walker?
Easy's nice. I'm not going to lie. He's very athletic, got good strength to him, too, you know. Despite what you might say about his size, he's very sneaky strong. So I feel like he's a good addition. He's smart as well and very disciplined. So I think he's someone that's going to be able to, like, come in and help us.
What up, Deion Jefferson?
First day is everything you thought it would be at this point?
Yeah. Let me tell you guys, man. When it comes to all these interviews and stuff, I really like Oso Digizua's interviews. And the reason why I like Oso Digizua's interviews is because they just seem so authentic.
How do you like his first two padded practices? Good intensity.
I mean, they just seem so authentic to me. I mean, it's like he's just, you know, if you're going to ask this dude questions, he's just kind of like, nah, I ain't going to give you no, you know. I'm going to just tell you what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to be done. I mean, that's kind of how he is. I really like it. So he's really authentic. And so when he talks, I mean, I'm really listening because he just seems like a really authentic guy. But what do I know? This is just an interview. All right, let's check out Jonathan Mingo. Oh, man, I'm telling you, you gotta love being a Dallas Cowboy. Only in Dallas do we give like fourth and fifth string guys. I mean, man, we be giving everybody interviews. I'm waiting on Will Greer. Might as well give Will Greer one. But let's check out Mingo.
Off season now, here we are in camp. How comfortable are you with things?
I feel comfortable. Had the whole off season to learn the whole install, learn all the positions and everything. So head's not spinning. So I feel good in camp right now.
Shotty's not a big 7-on-7, 9-on-7 guy. I'm assuming that's what you've done in other places. Is that a little weird not to do that?
It's kind of weird because we did it all during OTAs. So football is football. Then they playing with 11 people, so it's all the same at the end of the day, as long as the ball getting thrown.
Do you feel like the receiver room outside of CD and George, that there's a lot of good competition with you and Tolbert and Campbell and those guys?
Yeah, I'm competing with everybody, so my mind is trying to go in there and fight for one spot. I don't never try to belittle myself, so you can't set expectations on yourself. So I'm just trying to go in there and battle versus everybody, battle versus myself every day and go out there and compete.
What do you think fellow guys in your position room are learning from you and your style of play?
I'm a hard worker. I'm physical. I go out there and compete every day and get my odds. So I hope they have my backs and I got their backs. So I'm trying to go out there and compete and get a win every day.
What are things that you learned with the Panthers that you're bringing here to Cowboys training camp?
Just NFL knowledge. I learned a lot from Adam Thielen. Other guys around there, two other vets like Brian Burns and Derrick Brown, so I always got respect for those guys, but trying to go out here and compete, trying to learn from CD and Dak every day.
Are there specific things that you remember that's really stuck with you from them?
Just how to approach it every day, how to be a professional, how to be a pro, just try to go about your day-by-day process.
Depending on the reps, how do you get your timing down? Because you all have to share one ball. Talk about the timing aspect.
Get the timer down there, routes on there. After practice, we do walkthroughs in the afternoon too, so get a little timer down there, but and they just always something you can work on your technique. So just try to be prepared when your time comes. Just work on your technique and everything else when it comes.
Right. Okay.
Can you just talk about the challenge of after the trade, kind of being dropped in mid-season and trying to learn everything on the fly versus having a full off-season and training camp to kind of prepare to get ready for the season?
What's the question again?
What's the difference in the challenge between being dropped in via trade and kind of working your way in on the fly versus having an entire off-season OTAs, mini camp, training camp, and kind of build that comfort and that chemistry?
I think my biggest process was that my OC and now my head coach in Carolina, he worked on the shot, so they had similar type plays. was kind of easier now. Shot he wasn't calling plays last year, but they got a lot of similarity. But the problem with last year, a lot of play calls and formations was something different in Carolina. So we've been used to hearing the formation call this for a year and a half straight. And you trying to get that out of your head, and you hear that same formation call a week later, it's kind of hard. So you're just trying to get, you know what I'm saying? You're just trying to get used to it, like switching my mind over to this offense instead of that one right there.
Okay.
You guys have a wide receiver room. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, you're out here making plays literally every day that you're on the practice field. Jalen Tolbert's making plays, Cowboys making plays. It's a deep wide receiver room. How special can this wide receiver room be for Dak Prescott?
Be good, man. Everybody, we feed off of each other, man. We all got good energy. We all trusting each other. We all believing in each other. So one person may play to make the next guy want to go make a play too. So we trying to go out there and make plays, make that comfortable as possible. So when our name called, we ready, and we're just trying to win at the end of the day.
Do you have any personal expectations for yourself this year that you are comfortable putting out?
For me, I'm trying to get on the field, so I'm out competing every day, showing the coach how to do it, and pass game and run game. I'm gonna do whatever they need me to do. I'm trying to go out here and compete. I'm trying to get on the field. I'm trying to make plays. I feel like I haven't showed my full potential. I feel like my full potential gonna show this year. So when I'm a call, I'm gonna make my play, and I'm just gonna help the team win.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Lisa Worley. Lisa Worley. Let me just say, after watching Tolbert practice with the pads on, I'm worried about Tolbert in that number 3 spot. I think Mingo gonna try to give him a run for his money. And I think I already thought Mingo was gonna work his way onto the field. But man, Tolbert gonna have to turn it up. I'm telling you, Tolbert gonna have to turn it up. Tolbert better turn it up or else. And I already think Mingo gonna get some snaps. But he better turn it up. Because he's been, the separation that I saw, I don't know if maybe it was the formations they were running and the fact they're not running the long ones, but even when I saw him run a deep one, All right, let's get in Miles Sanders before we get out of here tonight. Let's see what we got here. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be special for the Cowboys. At least I think he is.
Well, Cowboys Nation, he's new to the star, but he's already making his presence known here in Oxnard, California, in one of the most competitive position groups out here. We've got Miles Sanders with me. Miles, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Your time is limited. So
yeah, I appreciate you having me.
No problem. You have been one of the most consistent guys all through camp, consistently stacking good days. What do you like most about what you've been able to put on tape so far?
Just my, just show my experience in the league, being able to do every different type of run scheme that they have going on.
Pride in being able for a touchdown. How much
his
do you
audio's
take pride
messed up
in being able to showcase that part of your game?
No running back is gonna be on the field if you can't protect.
Okay, don't let me go back to watch the Mingo interview.
I'm not gonna let nobody.
They got it messed up.
That, so. So that's I'm gonna take.
Her questions are fine, but his answers are messed up.
There, whether if it's Bryce or Jalen, no matter whoever I was playing with, Carson.
Yeah, they messed his answers up.
That's what I take pride in.
Did y'all just hear that? He just said that he's not going to let nobody touch Dak like that. I love to hear that.
No, for sure.
But, this running back room is very competitive. There's a lot of talent. How are you kind of embracing that challenge day to day, knowing that there is so much talent in this running back room?
Well, as far as the competition, me being
got it messed up.
I'm trying to get used to that. But just
all right, we're not gonna be able to watch Miles Sanders. We'll see. We'll save that for tomorrow. Maybe they'll get it right by then. All right, let's go to the comments before we get out of here tonight. Appreciate y'all rocking with me for 3 hours and 38 minutes. Y'all was talking about a football player's name being No Inga or something like that. Somebody said the G was silent. Somebody said they never seen a name like that, but I tell you this. There was a name that used to always had me tripping. And it was that dude that played for the Green Bay Packers. And if I'm not mistaken, he changed his name to Ha Ha Clinton Dix. Come on, man. I'm like, man, who named themselves that? Who calls themselves that, man? That was crazy to me. So I think there's a name that's been a little crazy out there than that No Inga, but I think it's actually saying something else now. But yeah, man, the Cowboys, we brought in this player. We'll see what he does. Ron Hanna, man, I already did a video on this. What Micah Parsons is going through is nothing. The Cowboys franchise tagged Dak Prescott not once but twice. Dak came up for his deal. They signed DeMarcus Lawrence first. They signed Zeke to that insane, stupid deal first. They signed Jalen Smith a whole year early. Meanwhile, Dak on the franchise tag. Shoot, Dak was playing for his life every season. Every season. Oh, Catherine said, gee, is that the guy we talked about yesterday? Oh, no, that's Christian Wilkins. I'm going to do a follow-up video on him tonight. Boy, I'm telling you, this Christian Wilkins thing is weird, weird, weird. And again, I don't think the Cowboys will want him in here. But no, it feels straight up. Jerry said it's on site with Michael's agent. Straight up. That's how he been talking. Straight up. Man, it's on site with Michael's agent. Shoot, Jerry does not like Michael's agent. Poobie D, all the players the Cowboys have to sign up with that athletes first. All of them. I don't think there's one player the Cowboys have coming up that is not with athletes first. But I do think they're going to be able to get those guys' deals done. And the reason why I think they're going to be able to get their deals done is because of the Cowboys coming early. DeRon Bland is coming off of a season where he didn't play a full season. He's a full season removed from that superstar season. So you can kind of come at him at a whole different angle now. And DeRon Bland, he might not require being the highest paid player. Brandon Aubrey, I think you can come at Brandon Aubrey at a whole different angle. He's an older kicker. So you can come at him at a whole different angle. I think when you're talking about Michael being the highest paid, that's a whole different stratosphere, a whole different conversation. And so the rest of them, I think the deals are just going to be a lot easier. So I'm not going to be surprised, even though Ty Smith going to get paid. Yes, sir, I got you lost in translation. That boy Ty Smith going to get paid. And deservingly so, because he's the best offensive lineman on the Dallas Cowboys team. He deserves to get paid. I mean, straight up. I mean, you think about the versatility and everything this guy brings to the game. No, Ty Smith deserves to be paid. Don't worry, guys. Micah Parsons is going to get paid. We ain't sweating it. Micah gonna get paid. And it may be a blessing in disguise. Maybe Micah don't even need to be out there anyway. You don't want to risk a player like him getting hurt. What up, Sam Rios? So especially, and when they pay Michael, don't rush him back out there on the field. Risking a hamstring or something else. When you bring him back out there, ease him back in. Ease him back in. Just ease him back in. That's all you need to do. We're going to be fine, guys. I think the Cowboys are going to wait until the Rams game. And I think that's when the Cowboys are going to say, okay, it's time to make a move. Yeah, I think it's time to make a move. Star Guardian next. Appreciate these super chats. Yeah, Aubrey's a star. He said Steven will make drama. But again, he's an older kicker. You might be able to come at him a little bit different. And again, I just think some of these players might not really be interested in trying to be the quote-unquote highest paid player. And so their deals will probably be a lot easier than Michael Parsons. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. We're going to be back on tomorrow. I know there'll be more news. Because if I'm not mistaken, I thought the Cowboys had a day off today. And I think that's why you're seeing more of the interviews. But if not, I'll go back and check some of the plays. But I'm about to put together the best plays from day 6. And I'll be releasing that video at some point tonight. So y'all can just check out some of the plays from day 6. And then day 8 gets started tomorrow. And it's another open practice. But again, Miss Matrix in the crib, good to see you. I'm going to be back at the Cowboys After Dark this week. It's me and my son riding solo. So another part of the family went on vacation. So it's just me and my son. So, hey, might as well do some Cowboys After Dark this week to pass some time. But again, Gwen Bowden, what's going on? Yeah, they're going to be ready. I believe too. I got some concerns, but I think they're going to address those concerns because they see more than I do. I think they're going to address those concerns. And I think after that Rams game, I think the Cowboys are probably going to make some more moves and start bringing some more people in camp. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Y'all the best chat on YouTube. I'll see y'all again tomorrow around 4:30. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.